Chapter 652. The audience was grinning from ear to ear. The fans of the untimely couple went crazy. The comments section was filled with the excited shouts of the couple's fans. "Ah, kill me to cheer up Shui and Sister E. It's too sweet, how can it be so sweet? Shui, did you hear that? Sister E is saying that she misses you. I'm about to pass out, is Xiang Yi shy? Don't delay the biscuits, they won't taste good when they're cold. Don't worry, we'll tell Shui about it for you." At the same time, in the live stream of Two Under One Roof, today's guest was the domineering CEO of the Xiang Corporation, Feng Feng. The fans complained that Li Jianyu was too good at saving money, but soon, they found out. The reason was that Xiang Feng was too hilarious. He climbed trees to fish, scratched his feet, and crossed his legs. It was so realistic. Besides, he was also a walking beeper, which happened to neutralize Shui's gentle and taciturn nature. The two of them had been live streaming for half a day, and even the Sui Feng couple had popped up. What should we do? Domineering CEO X Sui Feng is a demon. Do you think we can get married? The untimely couple sneered and looked down on everything. The untimely couple is the official match. The official wife is here, the other couples are all concubines. The Sui Feng couple was indignant. They had been brothers for many years, and during Shui's most difficult time, Xiang Feng was the one who reached out to him and signed him. In terms of age, Shui and Xiang Feng had known each other for several years longer than Shui and Xiangyi. However, when Shui turned on the TV to watch the live news, the comments section was instantly filled with comments about the untimely couple. The Sui Feng couple wept, "We were wrong after all." Xiang Feng was very noisy and he was the type of person who could talk to himself and entertain himself, let alone when he was with Shui. He munched on potato chips and said smugly, "Our little Xiangyi is so beautiful. She can actually resist the HD filterless camera of CCTV. Everyone finally snapped out of their daze. Yeah. This was a live broadcast on Central TV. All kinds of demons and ghosts had to show themselves, but Xiangyi not only resisted, but also highlighted her delicate facial features. In the crowd, it was so white that it seemed to glow. The little girl was eating meat pies. In the living room, two men occupied the two ends of the sofa. One of them was smiling so widely that his eyes couldn't be seen, while the other's thin lips were slightly curved and his eyes were filled with love. When Xiang Feng heard the instructions to his family, he wailed and slapped his thigh. "Sob sob, little Xiangyi, you went to pick peaches and mulberries with Chi-Chi without me. Netizens? Feng Feng of the Xiang clan, isn't your focus a bit off?" Shui's elbows and jawline were smooth as he leaned lazily on the sofa, looking extremely relaxed. But when he heard the words, "I miss you," his dark eyes lit up. It was as if the cold Milky Way was burning hot. Xiang Feng was dissatisfied. "Why don't you miss me? Am I not your favorite little uncle?" Next to him, Shui softly hummed and lowered her eyebrows. Her handsome face was blurred by the light and shadow, but her voice was clear and cheerful. "Yeah, I miss you too." Xiang Feng seemed to have been cast with a mute spell as the beeper went silent at this moment. A moment later, he let out an earth-shattering roar. "How cruel. Are you guys trying to trick a dog to come here and kill it?" The live broadcast room suddenly became a scene of a large-scale carnival. "Ha ha 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 ha, you're indeed a team of bullies. Sisters, it's a double arrow of love. If you get it, you've earned it. I announce that the two newlyweds are officially husband and wife. Play the music. Dang 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 dang." Chapter 653. As for the Sui Feng couple, they hugged each other and cried on the spot. "Sorry, we're not worthy. The official couple is the best." Reporter Song was indeed a famous reporter. He could still maintain a smile even after being fed dog food. The director's voice came through the earpiece. "Continue, we have 2 more minutes. The viewership ratings have gone through the roof. It wasn't just the viewership ratings. The online search index on the internet was also constantly increasing. The live broadcast website crashed because there were too many viewers in a short period of time. The production team deliberately made adjustments to get more time for the interview. Of course, the main focus was to interview Xiangyi. Not only was it positive, but it also naturally revealed kinship and love. Which news reporter wouldn't love it? Reporter Song thought for a while and asked about Xiangyi's Tai Chi exercise. Sister E, your Tai Chi exercise has become popular overseas. Do you have anything to say about it? Xiangyi said embarrassedly, I can't say that it's mine. I adapted it based on some basic movements of Tai Chi. It's actually equivalent to radio gymnastics. It's mainly to let the patient move around and relax. I see. Reporter Song smiled and asked, I'm a little surprised. There aren't many young people who know Tai Chi these days. I just know a little. Why don't Sister E teach us a few self-defense Tai Chi moves? Xiangyi hesitated for a moment and said, Can I train? I have a simple version of Tai Chi exercise. Sure. Reporter Song thought that Tai Chi was not practical enough, so he didn't make things difficult for Xiangyi. The girl got up and casually got into position. Her every move was very simple and elegant. It was a combination of softness and softness, combining softness and agility with toughness. Her will, chi, form, and spirit were all in harmony, like flowing water. The audience was dumbfounded. Her movements are simple, but her aura is too strong. I'm shocked, I can feel the wind through the screen. Sister E can't really know martial arts, can she? Ha, that's all there is to it. If she wants to punch me, she'll have to kneel on the ground and beg me not to die. Even the experienced and knowledgeable reporter Song was stunned. He had seen the representatives of several Tai Chi sects in the country. They were all people who had devoted themselves to cultivation for decades. Only then did they have the inner strength that was described in martial arts novels. But Xiangyi was so young, and he could feel her inner strength. He was so far away that his hair was blown by the wind caused by Xiangyi's movements. Could it be that she didn't teach him self-defense techniques because, don't need it? After Xiangyi demonstrated a few movements, the audience applauded. The experts present all wanted to clap their hands until they broke into pieces and kept praising her. Our little disciple is really awesome. Disciples' Tai Chi moves are comfortable and broad. Hardness and softness complement each other, and the will and chi combine. Wonderful. Is there anything in this world that my beloved disciple can't do? No. My beloved disciple is too awesome. The little girl was a little embarrassed. She pursed her lips and said, It's not that powerful, expert team, of course not. Our obedient disciples are outstanding. Plain and simple, spacious and empty like a valley. Disciple, you don't have to be too humble. That's right, that's right. If anyone dares to say anything bad about you, I'll dissect a little rabbit for them to see, humph. Everyone was talking at once. They really treated the little girl like a pearl in their palms. The audience was mesmerized on the spot. TSK, aren't you experts usually very serious? Why are you spoiling a little girl like this? Chapter 654. The atmosphere was joyous and harmonious. All of a sudden, the bell on the table rang. The experts who were originally relaxed immediately sat up straight with stern expressions. Some hurriedly wiped their mouths, some hurriedly tidied up their clothes, and some skillfully removed their wigs. At first, there were still some audience members who were puzzled and joked around. I'm going to be struck by lightning if I persuade people to learn medicine. Expert, I'm going bald in the path of medicine, but I've also become stronger. I suddenly realized that Xiangyi and Xiang Yin have the best hair out of all of them. The Xiang family's genes are really impressive. Reporter Song was about to ask Xiangyi what happened, but he saw her striding out. Dr. Xiangyi, she looked back with her clear eyes calm and indifferent. She nodded at him slightly and said, Excuse me. Reporter Song was confused. Why, did she leave just like that? The other younger experts also left one after another. Eager to protect his disciple, Elder Jing supported himself with the table and got up. No, I have to go and take a look. I can't let my dear disciple tire herself out. However, after getting up, his body swayed a little. Reporter Song was quick to react and hurriedly supported him. Elder Jing's eyes were red with anger. If I were 10 years younger, this would be nothing. Nothing. Elder Yun sighed. They were now in the mood to practice medicine, but they didn't have the strength to do so. After days of hard work, Xiangyi was the only one who could still run. The old men were already exhausted. The respected Elder Fong explained, "This bell means that there are patients in need of rescue." Reporter Song was suddenly enlightened. Oh, I see. Forget it, let's go and take a look too. Even if we can't do it ourselves, we can at least give them some advice. Elder Fong waved his hand and continued, "We can't let the young people look down on us." Everyone supported each other and dragged their exhausted bodies, but their eyes were full of determination. Occasionally, the sound of experts arguing could be heard. "Old man, can you do it or not? You're already panting after taking a few steps. Weren't you very agile when you were snatching the braised pork balls just now? If you ask me, you Western medicine doctors should learn how to maintain your health too. What's wrong with wearing a wig? It's better than some of you wearing dentures." Reporter Song's throat rolled as he looked at the group of exhausted but cheerful experts. His emotions were churning and indescribable. It was because of this group of people that the problem could be solved. "Thank you all for your efforts." Reporter Song, who had always been eloquent, spoke dryly at this moment. He couldn't find the words to express his feelings. Our live broadcast today ends here. The live broadcast was interrupted, and the television began to broadcast other news. The audience in front of the screen remained silent for a long time. That scene was simply too shocking. Especially when Xiangyi took the lead and walked out, her steps were so fast that it was as if she was walking on the wind. Her slender and thin figure carried far too much. No matter how cold-hearted a person was, he would feel from the bottom of his heart that, little girl, it really wasn't easy. On the internet, the spicy Tutu girls were all crying. The moment our sister E rushed out without hesitation, it was so good to cry. Those who slander Sister E, listen up. She was not a vase fairy, nor was she a second-generation doctor. She was Dr. Xiangyi. She was an angel. Oh my God, I'm watching the live broadcast of CCTV and two under one roof at the same time. Sure Sui's heart is aching. In the living room, Sure Sui's long eyelashes drooped and he didn't move for a long time. However, if one took a closer look, they would realize that his hands, which were hanging on the sofa, were clenched into fists. He was using so much force that his knuckles were pale. Chapter 655. Even the beeping machine, Xiang Feng, was drooping his head in dejection. In fact, he knew very well that although Xiang Yin supported his children and grandchildren to choose a career they were passionate about, he definitely wanted someone to inherit his medical skills. Unfortunately, he and Sanction were really not interested in medical skills. Xiang Yi was a meticulous person. She could sense Xiang Yin's disappointment, so she had been following him around since she was a child. It was undeniable that she was indeed interested in medical skills, but more than that, she didn't want Xiang Yin to have no successor. When she was a child, Xiangyi would often doze off while memorizing Chinese medicine prescriptions. Occasionally, when she encountered difficult problems that she couldn't figure out, she would secretly hide in a corner and cry. Xiang Feng still felt his heart ache when he thought about it. He thought that his niece would be happy when she grew up, but to his surprise, she seemed to have more worries and responsibilities. Xiang Feng sniffled and said sadly, "My little Xiangyi is working too hard. When you come back, I'll definitely buy you fried chicken, ice cream, and spicy strips." The netizens watching the live stream were appalled. What kind of dangerous statement is that? Mr. Xiang is in danger. Is he taking Sister E to eat garbage? How should I put it? Bullying is not without reason. Actually, Xiang E may be a little silly, but he's really nice to Sister E. He just wants to make Sister E happy. I feel like crying again. Xiang Feng turned his head and said with tears in his eyes, Sui Sui, cry if you want to, you don't have to hold it in. Come, lean on Daddy's shoulder. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows in confusion. Xiang Feng said, I'll call you Sui Sui and you can call me Daddy. We'll talk about our own things. Shi Sui responded with a smile. Why don't I beat you up and you get beaten up by me? Isn't that fair? Xiang Feng was dumbfounded. Seeing that Shi Sui had begun to roll up her sleeves, Xiang Feng began to run for his life. Help, little Xiangyi, come back and save me. Shi Sui chased after him unhurriedly. I'll keep you alive. Sister Yi can be saved anyway. Xiang Feng. The dignified and domineering CEO actually ran so fast that his slippers fell off. For a moment, the audience gasped in amazement. My eyes are moist, and I'm holding back my tears. Smile. What was even more amusing was that as Xiang Feng ran, he picked a big tree and climbed up it. His movements were so skillful that those who heard it would shed tears and those who heard it would be heartbroken. Just how much experience did he have in taking a beating? Little Uncle's act of climbing trees to save his life is so practiced that it makes one's heart ache. I'm imagining him being chased and beaten up by Brother Damao and Brother Ermao. Feng Feng of the Xiang family is such a pitiful man. Help! Who still remembers that Xiang Feng is a domineering CEO? Why isn't he smiling wickedly? There's no fan-shaped statistics in his eyes either. Shi Sui crossed her arms and said faintly, come down. Xiang Feng hugged the tree trunk and said in a trembling voice, come up. Shi Sui sneered. Xiang Feng trembled. He remembered that Shi Sui also knew how to climb trees. Boo-hoo, what if he climbs up too? Xiang Feng was suffering, but through the lush foliage, he couldn't see the situation under the tree clearly. After waiting for a long time, there was no movement under the tree. Xiang Feng had an urge to pee, but he didn't dare to go down. Xiang Feng's imagination ran wild. Shi Sui must be waiting for me down there. If I go down now, wouldn't I be walking right into a trap? Boo-hoo. Little did he know that Shi Sui only stayed under the tree for a moment before leaving. The camera was still looking up at the tree, but the audience in the live stream couldn't stop laughing. I'm laughing so hard, ha 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 ha. Chapter 656. Shocking, a certain domineering CEO is showing signs of atavism. Shiringdi is so black-bellied, he left just like that. Mr. Xiang is so pitiful. Xiang Feng stayed on the tree for about 2 or 3 minutes before cautiously poking his head down to take a look. Huh? Where is she? He looked confused for a few seconds before regaining his composure. It's just an empty fort. Xiang Feng was like a detective deducing a crime scene. Sui Sui, you've underestimated me. The man's serious comical look was even funnier than a comedian racking his brains for a joke. The audience in the live stream once again burst into laughter. Help, someone save me, I'm dying of laughter. Xiang Feng, a perfect man who's funny, Mr. Xiang. Shiringdi really just left. He just left. Under everyone's gazes, Xiang Feng laughed wildly with his hands on his hips and sat down on the tree trunk, looking like he was going to stay on the tree until the end of time. About 10 minutes later, Li Jianyu couldn't hold back his laughter and said, Mr. Xiang, Shi Sui has really left. Left? Xiang Feng crossed his arms and looked down at Li Jianyu with a domineering gaze. Do you think I'll believe you? You're such a naive, stupid, and ridiculous man. Li Jianyu, keep scolding me. This scene also became one of the classic and famous scenes of Two Under One Roof, which was later rewatched by countless loyal fans. It was also one of the funniest clips of variety shows. Xiang Feng sat on the tree for a whole hour. The production crew found a ladder and went up to persuade him one by one. It took a lot of effort for them to persuade Xiang Feng to come down. 1 second, 2 seconds, after waiting for a full 10 seconds, Xiang Feng still didn't see Shi Sui come out to beat him up. He was stunned on the spot. She really left? At the same time, on Weibo, an unknown director released a clip of behind-the-scenes footage. It was a short promotional film about the fight against the plague. The film started with the family affairs of small characters and was shot in an extremely natural manner. It wasn't the kind that made people cry, but rather, it subtly touched the audience's heart. From beginning to end, the people who appeared were all unknown actors, extras, and members of the public. Even the director himself went up to make a cameo appearance. The only exception was Shi Sui. He played the role of a university teacher who taught online classes through the internet. He was wearing a cotton plaid shirt, and his glasses had been replaced with the most ordinary black-rimmed glasses, but it was still difficult to conceal his clean and handsome temperament. His slender and flawless fingers tapped the table twice, and his voice was gentle. "Hello, students. Please turn to page 79 of College Physics." In the behind-the-scenes footage, the young best actor had obviously used his original voice. His understanding of the lines was impeccable. Even though the scene was a little noisy, the man's pronunciation was still clearly heard by everyone. The Shi Sui sisters were thrilled to see this behind-the-scenes video. "Physics teacher, I can do it. Oh my god, our best actor has finally made it. Karma. Yes. There's no trace of her acting skills at all, she's so immersive." This video actually climbed to the top of the search list without any publicity. Zhuo Yi, who saw this trending topic, gripped his phone tightly. Eating well for all 3 meals was going downhill. He heard that Biyao TV was already preparing to give up this show and replace it with a new variety show. Now, his and Jianghu's reputation had been ruined, but why was Shi Sui living so smoothly? Zhuo Yi was so jealous that his eyes turned red. He switched to another account and found a blogger to expose. Chapter 657. In the rented apartment. Peeler was playing games while shaking his legs. Ever since he started operating Weibo accounts such as Online Celebrity Peeler and Melon in the Field, he had earned quite a lot of money, but he squandered it all away. He either used it for online gambling or for top-up games. When he ran out of money, he would continue to post posts to slander celebrities and internet celebrities and make money off of them. However, after Peeler was mocked by the netizens a few days ago for defaming Jianghu, he was worried that Jianghu would retaliate. Hence, he had been keeping a low profile for a few days and only posted some trivial posts on Weibo. After playing games, he lit a cigarette and scrolled through the trending searches on Weibo to find material for today's post. A private message from a friend popped up in the lower right corner of his screen. Peeler opened it and found that it was a new piece of news from a netizen named Extraordinary Joie. It was not the first time that this netizen had exposed him, and each time, it was particularly explosive. Peeler had successfully gained popularity several times by relying on the netizen's posts. As soon as he saw his new post, Peeler's eyes lit up. His face was sallow and haggard because he had stayed up late. Half an hour later, Peeler's fans realized that he had updated his post. Online Celebrity Peeler v. I received news from a netizen that a certain best actor is suspected of being involved in illegal activities for receiving sky-high remuneration. Aren't the relevant departments going to investigate? Why should we pay our taxes so painstakingly while some people can evade them? The topic of paying taxes would make the headlines from time to time. The fact that celebrities paid taxes was the focus of countless people's attention. Upon seeing this Weibo post, all the netizens in the comments section began to imagine that the capital was online. Could it be that best actor I'm thinking of? The one on the trending searches? That's strange. His girlfriend is fair, rich, and beautiful, and he's from a wealthy family. That's unlikely. You probably don't know this, but SS's family had an accident. When he was 17 years old, his family's company was not well managed and he owed a large sum of money. He debuted to make money. Don't use abbreviations. I'm dying of curiosity. Is SS Shi Sui? Super soft, the Shi Sui sisters immediately appeared to criticize him. Don't believe rumors, don't spread rumors, don't create rumors, everyone, please pay more attention to Shi Sui's career. She is the triple gold best actor Sui Sui, Kanglan TV Emperor Sui Sui, 10 billion box office Sui Sui, fashion darling Sui Sui. Since the establishment of Time Studio, it has been paying taxes legally. Sui herself has also supported public welfare projects many times. She has donated to poor mountainous areas, out-of-school children, deaf and mute schools, psychological institutions, and so on. Please don't disappoint those who truly do charity. However, Skinner smelled the scent of big gossip. He switched to another account and reposted the Weibo post he had posted, playing different roles. Shirindi would never do something like that. Trust him unconditionally. My whole family is shocked. SS actually paid sky-high fees and evaded taxes? Let's talk about the conspiracy theory. Could the 50 million donation to the West Continent also be to launder money? It's scary when you think about it. After a few accounts reposted it, the popularity of this Weibo post rose rapidly. Skinner was happily looking at the number of views on his website that was rapidly increasing. He was thinking that he could earn a lot of money today. Suddenly, a prompt box popped up on the screen. Frowny face, your account has been banned. Skinner, : At the same time, the director of the anti-epidemic short film said, "Thank you, Sui, for acting in my short film for free. I'm deeply touched and would like to express my deep gratitude." Chapter 658. TSK. The netizens who had been standing on the moral and legal high ground to judge Sui were shocked. This turn of events was too unexpected. After all, an A-list celebrity's salary and appearance fees would start at least 1 million yuan for a short film. It turned out that it wasn't a sky-high salary, it was a zero-pay deal. Is this, for real? Why am I so doubtful? How can there be an artist in the entertainment industry who doesn't earn money? Are you sure it's not a fake contract? On the surface, it's a zero-pay deal, but on the other hand, it's a sky-high price? The director replied to the comment about the fake contract, "Please don't judge others based on preconceived notions. Perhaps such a phenomenon really exists in the industry, but I'm willing to guarantee with my life that Sui didn't take a single cent, not even the transportation fees. All the actors in the crew can testify." More and more people came forward. There were actors who had filmed the short film with him, as well as the scriptwriter and post-production staff. Even the takeaway boss who delivered the lunchboxes was full of praise for Sui. "This young man is really handsome. He's polite too. The weather was bad after I delivered the takeaway and it was about to rain. He even gave me an umbrella." The public opinion shifted from one side to the other. However, this time, it was positive public opinion. There were also people in the industry who revealed that not only did Sui get zero pay this time, but all the public welfare projects that he had participated in previously had all been for zero pay. Not only that, the director who had given him a chance at the beginning of his debut also charged him a discount when he acted in the director's work after he became popular. When his friend asked him to save the scene, he did it without hesitation. Only then did the netizens realize that Sui seemed to, not only be good at acting, but he also had a good character. Everyone was relishing in the gossip, and some people even gossiped that the city Sui was filming in today was quite close to Shizhou, but they were soon mocked by the netizens. What kind of joke was this? Would Sui go to see Xiangyi if it was close to the city? Would the almighty Sui be so lovey-dovey? At this moment, in the nanny van, Sui's long legs were crossed, and his slender fingers were knitting something. The tablet was casually placed to the side, and on the screen was Sichuanbai's expressionless face. He went straight to the point. "I've already dealt with the blogger who spread rumors about you on Weibo today. He's the only one with the internet celebrity skinning accounts." Sui replied calmly, "Yes." Sichuanbai saw that his reaction was normal, so he added, "He often slandered Sister E, but his computer skills are very good. He even filled in his information from overseas. It took a lot of effort to successfully report him. I've sent the details to Mr. Sanction, and he said that he will personally write the legal documents." Nowadays, spreading rumors didn't come without cost. At the very least, they had to publicly apologize. If it was any other artist, they probably wouldn't have been so calculative. Unfortunately, he had provoked a certain crazy sister protector. Shi Sui frowned. Are there many people who slander Sister E? They've all been reported. Si Chuanbai was speechless. You don't even care if I'm slandering you, but why do you change when I mention Sister E? TSK, there are still two faces. Okay, I'll do as I see fit. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Shi Sui picked up the tablet and was about to end the video call. Si Chuanbai inadvertently caught a glimpse of the colorful yarn at the man's fingertips and exclaimed in surprise. You're knitting. Chapter 659. It's not. Si Chuanbai heaved a sigh of relief. The next second, he heard Shi Sui say casually, it's a hair clip. Si Chuanbai was confused. What was that? Was it the hair clip that he understood? It's for Sister E. Shi Sui tapped her fingers and sent a few photos to Si Chuanbai. It was the most popular knitted hair clip with bright colors and cute patterns. The other kids have one, but Sister E has to have one too. Si Chuanbai looked at the strawberry hair clip, bunny hair clip, and snow white hair clip and fell silent. I'll continue. Goodbye. Shi Sui hung up calmly. Si Chuanbai paused for a few seconds and asked Ah Nan, hey, little colorful hair. In the office, Ah Nan was using his laptop to chat with the netizens. His speed and ability to spit out vulgarities was amazing. However, while the netizens were ferocious with their keyboards, the real Ah Nan sucked on a lollipop and let out a cute, ah. Si Chuanbai told him about Shi Sui knitting the hair clip and showed him the photos. This thing only costs a few yuan online, right? Do you have to knit it yourself? Ah Nan said. This is probably why you can't find a girlfriend. Si Chuanbai raised his eyebrows. Oh. Don't you think it's sweet? Ah Nan's tone was angry. Sugar. It's sugar. Who would be able to resist making something for the person they like? Is that so? Ah Nan clicked on #untimely hashtag and taught Si Chuanbai how to make sugar. Come. I'll teach you how to make sugar. What's the essence of making sugar? First, it's eye contact, second, it's conversation, and third, it's details. But the real sugar is when two people are not in the same frame and can make a lot of sugar. We usually call this realm a sugar lover. Si Chuanbai pushed up his glasses with his fingers and took notes with a serious expression on his face. From time to time, he would make a few notes. In the room with the humidifier on, the water vapor was dense. Si Chuanbai, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, and Ah Nan, who was relaxing and exercising, were very close to each other. After nightfall, it began to rain in the West Continent. The patients who were sent over had all received effective treatment. However, no cure had been found yet. All the experts were at a loss. It was rare for them to have some free time. Sleep had become a luxury that made every second count. Most people went to rest. However, Xiangyi didn't rest. Instead, she sat by the window of the resting room and flipped through the electronic files of the ancient medical book with a focused expression. The electronic file was a photocopy of the picture. There were no punctuation marks, and it was still in traditional Chinese. Most people would find it difficult to even break out a sentence, but Xiangyi did not have any reading difficulties at all. She browsed through it at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly, her fingertips paused and she read it carefully a few more times. Her round eyes became brighter and brighter. Found it. The girl hurriedly took a screenshot and sent it to the newly created group of experts. She also summarized her reading notes and sent them out. Suddenly, the long-awaited system notification sounded in his mind. Host, the male lead is downstairs. Xiangyi was stunned for 2 seconds. Then, she pulled open the curtains and looked at a thin and tall figure through the pitter-patter of rain and the dark and silent night. Thump, thump, her heartbeats suddenly quickened. Xiangyi was so helpless that her fingertips curled up. Buzz, 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 her phone vibrated. She glanced sideways and saw the name on the screen. AAA Boyfriend Red Heart. Chapter 660. The video call was connected. After a moment of darkness, Shui's face appeared on the screen. Xiangyi blinked, not knowing what to do. She waved her hand clumsily and said, "Hi." Shui's surroundings were dim. He stood under the street lamp, wearing a dark black sweater, which made his skin look cold and pale. The dim yellow light cast a gentle and clear silhouette on his entire person. Shui said gently, "Hello?" Xiangyi said, "Hello?" Shui's eyebrows arched deeper. "Did our sister eat well?" Xiangyi felt a little guilty, but she still said, "Yes, yes." "What did you have for dinner?" Xiangyi couldn't answer. She mumbled, "Oh," and tried to muddle through with her cuteness. I ate a lot at noon. The beef patties are very fragrant. I'll cook them for you when I get back." Shui sighed, but he didn't expose her. He just responded softly. "Aren't you cold?" The man asked in a low voice. "Be careful not to catch a cold." The girl on the screen was only wearing a milky white short-sleeved shirt. It was a loose-fitting version, probably for ease of movement. However, in this rainy summer night, she looked cold and slender. Xiangyi immediately jumped onto the single bed and wrapped the small blanket tightly. "I won't be cold like this." Shui said, "Sister E is so good." Xiangyi shook her little legs. She was praised. Xiangyi was a little nervous at first, but because of Shui's silent comfort, she gradually calmed down. She chatted with Shui for a while. It was obviously nonsense, but inexplicably, she felt very warm and happy. "Don't you think we're like an old married couple?" Xiangyi played with the small blanket. It seemed that her parents' interactions when she was young were also like this. She didn't know which word pleased Shui, but the man's dark eyes were filled with a smile. He said softly, "Yes." Xiangyi suddenly reacted. "You didn't bring an umbrella?" The drizzle soaked Shui's hair. In his mind, the system's voice was bewitching. "Host, you can give the male lead an umbrella now this way. Not only can you give him an umbrella, you can also increase his favorability." Xiangyi, oh. The system was overjoyed. Finally. Is this woman finally going to do missions? This is great. The next second, Xiangyi transferred a sum of money to Shui. At the same time, Shui's phone rang with a notification. "AAA girlfriend has transferred 1 million yuan to you." Shui, the system, Xiangyi said with a serious face, "I can't give you an umbrella. Otherwise, you'll be quarantined when you go back. It would even implicate Li Jianyu and Sister Wan. Sorry, can you go to the convenience store and buy an umbrella? Or should I order takeout for you?" The system was about to vomit blood. "No, host, an umbrella isn't that expensive." The girl ignored it. Her delicate porcelain face was flushed. Don't misunderstand. I don't mean to humiliate you with money. I want to give you pocket money, just like what her grandparents and brothers had given her." Her definition of pocket money since she was a child was, because her family loved her, and she was loved. Unfortunately, Xiangyi was the youngest, so she couldn't give others pocket money even if she wanted to. But today, she finally gave it to her boyfriend. "Why aren't you saying anything?" Xiangyi was a little uneasy. Would this hurt Shui's self-esteem? Was her boyfriend angry? Chapter 661. On the other end of the screen. Shui pulled up his sweater and put on the hood to block out the shadows. His Adam's apple bobbed as unfamiliar emotions surged in his heart. But it was beautiful. Shui had always been a supporter of equal rights between men and women. He wasn't a male chauvinist, so he didn't feel that Xiangyi was insulting him or pitying him by giving him money. He really felt happy. When he was young, his parents lived apart. When he was young, his family changed. To Shui, pocket money was an extremely luxurious thing. But little bunny gave him pocket money, such a gentle, soft, and warm little bunny. "If you don't like it, I won't do it again." "I'm sorry, It's my first time in a relationship. It's my fault. Can you talk to me? The girl's clear voice came through the phone. Shui finally raised his eyebrows. Those upturned peach blossom eyes seemed to be studded with stars, bright and burning. Thank you, Sister E. I'm very happy. Really? Xiangyi breathed a sigh of relief. That's good, that's good. Shui took out a few hair clips from his pocket. After all, it was his first time knitting, so the finished product was a little rough. He touched his nose embarrassedly. Do you like them? The man's joints were slender and well-defined, which contrasted with the hair clips. They're so cute. Did you buy them for me? Yes. The next second, Xiangyi's phone vibrated. It was a message from Nan. Nan is also eating candy today, Sister E. Mr. C and I were in the middle of supper when he told me that Shengdi had personally knitted a hair clip for you. Oh, it's too sweet, too sweet. My devil spicy hot and sour noodles have become sweet and spicy. Those hair clips were knitted for her by Shui. The little deer in her heart seemed to be able to talk and kept pounding non-stop. Xiangyi blinked. Boyfriend, did you knit these for me? Shui noticed her action of replying to the message and joked, it seems that I've been betrayed by my teammate. As long as Si Chuanbai knew something, Nan would definitely know. Xiangyi corrected him softly, of course not, Xiangyi was very embarrassed, but she also wanted to express her feelings to Shui. She pulled the small blanket to cover most of her face and said in a low voice, I really like the hairpin you knitted for me. I also really like you. I can't take it anymore. The little girl's face quickly turned as red as a tomato, and she covered her entire face. Shui's eyes were deep and serene as she stared at the soft light through the curtain of rain. There were countless thoughts of not wanting to be a human in his heart. But he killed them all. I'll continue knitting, I hope Sister E can like me a little more. The man's tone was as gentle as jade, and it sounded very affectionate in the middle of the night. Xiangyi was so shy that her toes curled up. She quietly opened a gap and happened to make eye contact with Shui, who was smiling. Her ancestral arrogance was activated. The little girl's heart softened and she said stubbornly, I'm not looking at you, I just want to see the hairpin. I don't know how it'll look like after I put it on. Shui raised his eyebrows. Then let me help you try it on. Xiangyi was stunned. Huh? The man looked down and slowly put the little rabbit, strawberry, and snow-white hairpins on his head one by one. He looked up and his thick and long eyelashes fluttered, making him look like a charming demon. Even the surrounding scenery instantly became lively. Are you satisfied? E. May. Chapter 662. Boom, Xiangyi's mind went blank as if fireworks had exploded in her head. Through the cold electronic equipment, Shui's thin lips curled up and her face instantly heated up. Cough, cough, cough. A few seconds later, Xiangyi broke out into an earth-shattering coughing fit. She finally calmed down. It's okay. Shui looked disappointed. Sister E, do you think the hair clip is ugly, or do you think I'm ugly? It was said that little puppies were the most irresistible when they acted coquettishly. But who would have thought that when a mature, steady, gentle, and handsome man acted coquettishly, it was even more irresistible? No. The hair clip is cute, and so are you. I didn't mean that. No, that's what I meant. You're really cute, sob. I'm sorry. Xiangyi was incoherent. She was no longer as calm as she usually was. She even apologized to Shui. Shui raised his hand to touch the hair clip. Its outline was blurred by the light, but it was very gentle. I don't like it when others praise me for being cute. But Sister E praised me for being cute, he sighed helplessly and dotingly. What should I do? I'm very happy. Everything related to her in this world was so beautiful. Hearing the man's whispers that sounded like sweet nothings, Xiangyi's little legs fluttered even more violently. She lay on the bed, leaned her phone against the pillow, rubbed her hot face, and then looked at Shi Sui. She made a heart sign. Shi Sui was slightly stunned. Just as he was about to respond, he heard a beep sound. The video call had been hung up by a shy little bunny. Immediately after, the little girl sent 2 messages. Frowny face, it's very late. Go back quickly. Remember to buy an umbrella. The top of the screen was still typing. Shi Sui licked his lips and continued to wait. However, the little girl on the other end of the screen edited and deleted many times. Finally, she blushed and sent a few cute emoticons. Frowny face, I miss you. Old Dai is full of you. JPG, I'm the best friend in the world with you. JPG, I like you. JPG, the last picture was of a little rabbit holding its heart. Below it were 2 big words. Frowny face chirp. In the rainy summer night, the man stroked the screen with his slender fingers for a long time before leaving. 10 days later. Early in the morning news broke out with exciting news. A treatment plan for this epidemic had been developed. All of a sudden, everyone was sharing this joy on all the major social media platforms. But inexplicably, a lot of doubtful comments appeared on the internet. How can it be so fast? The vaccine research still needs a few more months. Can it be cured just like that? I'm not suspecting the officials, I'm suspecting that some doctors are faking it for the sake of their own reputation. Healing? I'm dying of laughter. As far as I know, all the patients currently rely on strengthening the body's immune system to heal themselves. This so-called treatment plan can't be bragging about only having a little effect, right? Hee, who knows if it'll work or not? Perhaps there would be no effect at all. Similar epidemics had happened in other countries before. Their medical standards were top-notch, but it took them several years to come up with a treatment plan. Since when can our medical standards be compared to those of other countries? At the same time, the morning news showed the list of people who had proposed a treatment plan. Xiangyi's name was at the top. Chapter 663. The netizens who saw the news were dumbfounded. According to normal logic, being ranked first meant that she had made the greatest contribution. There are so many highly respected medical bigwigs standing aside, and yet, a young girl is ranked first. Does that make sense? Many netizens' comments were soon filled with arrogance and prejudice as they began to criticize. These experts have no bottom line. They may take in disciples, but how can they mess around with the rankings? I have a bold guess that Xiangyi's grandfather colluded with those experts to pave the way for his granddaughter's future. TSK, it might not be so disgusting if they did it slowly, but it's so direct. It's like a sugar daddy in the entertainment industry trying to groom a female artist. What's the difference between this and academic fraud? It's not her own thesis but under her own name. She didn't contribute at all and yet she's still the author. How disgusting. Be careful, the higher you stand, the harder you fall. After all, it's lonely at the top. If you misbehave, you'll fail sooner or later. The voices of doubt were all over the place. Even the passers-by who had a good impression of Xiangyi were shaken. After all, the good doctors they met in life were all older. How many young doctors were reliable? What more a young female doctor? Besides, she was only in her early 20s. Although she could be a genius, how many geniuses were there in this world? Habits were a powerful force that was even harder to change once they formed a mindset. More and more people participated in the discussion, and various small articles and short videos emerged one after another. The discussion about the treatment plan was far less than the discussion about Xiangyi. The officials didn't expect that the public's focus would deviate to such an extent. Just as the public opinion was at its peak, the official Weibo account of 2 Under One Roof posted a new post. Frowny face 2 Under One Roof v. Sister E, welcome home. See you guys at dinner, ahem, see you at the live stream. The accompanying picture was of a black car parked at the gate of Little Rabbit Farm, and a young girl alighting from the car with a backpack on her back. The setting sun was a large patch of orange on the horizon, and half of the young girl's face was hidden in the shadows, as if she had been plated with a layer of filter. She looked quiet and composed. However, she had obviously lost a lot of weight, and even though she was wearing a mask, it was obvious that her chin had become sharper. All of a sudden, the netizens who couldn't sit still flooded the live stream. They didn't say much and started to scold her. As a doctor, how could you come back? No way, no way. The news is still blowing up, and he's already a deserter? She's dressed 2M, short-sleeved jeans, bright yellow school bag. Where was the professionalism that a doctor should have? How can we trust her? At this moment, a tall and slender figure appeared on the screen. The photographer slowly zoomed in to ensure that the two of them were in the same frame. In an instant, a scene that resembled an idol drama appeared before everyone's eyes. Shui naturally took Xiang Yi's bag and rubbed her hair. I'm back. Xiang Yi's eyes curved slightly. I brought you a lot of things. Xiang Yi pulled open the zipper, and the things inside gushed out as if they had exploded. The little girl introduced him in a gentle voice. This is the most famous shrimp and custard bun in the West Continent. This is the medicinal plaster that Grandpa Fong gave me. It's a secret ancestral recipe. And the blind box I picked at the station. Look, isn't this very similar to yours? I'm so lucky. The girl was like a dragon who loved to hoard shiny treasures, but she didn't hesitate to share them with her baby. The netizens in the live stream were speechless. They suddenly didn't know what to say. It's quite sweet. Chapter 664. Every time Xiang Yi took out an item, she would introduce it to him seriously. She was chattering incessantly but not noisy at all. Shui's gaze was affectionate and he smiled gently. From time to time, he would nod and chime in. He waited for her to introduce the entire bag of items. Are all of them for me? The man asked softly. Xiang Yi nodded vigorously. Xiao Naofu, who was not far away, took a few steps back when it heard those words. Its eyes were full of disbelief. Li Jinyu gestured for the cameraman to give Xiao Naofu a close-up shot, which instantly made the audience laugh. Ha ha ha, Director Li, you're so good at this. Xiao Naofu, that year, I made a mistake after all, oh my god. Is little Shiji a spirit? He actually pulled Xiao Naofu into his arms and kissed it. Xiao Naofu's CP is so awesome. I'm sick of it, I'm really sick of it. This couple must be 99%. The creamy yellow Shiba Inu held the kitten in his arms and licked its fluffy fur, as if he was saying with his actions, ha, kitten, you're mine. He's even more domineering than my owner, Xiang Feng. Xiao Naofu was so traumatized that it forgot to resist. Before it knew it, its head was covered in saliva. The audience expressed their opinions. I can't take it anymore, my diabetes is getting worse. I never expected that I'd have to eat Xiao Naofu and little Shiji's dog food too. Shui equals live-in son-in-law, little Shiji equals live-in son-in-law, so Shui equals a dog. Is there something wrong with that, friends? The comments section was extremely lively, and the tense atmosphere from before was gone. Shui led Xiang Yi into the living room and pressed her down on the sofa to rest. He didn't forget to place a soft pillow behind her back. He lowered his head and turned on the TV, after which he switched to a variety show. He had also prepared snacks and fruits. The food is ready, I'll go get it. Xiang Yi said softly, why are you such a good husband and father? Shui couldn't help but laugh as he stared at Xiang Yi for a few seconds. Xiang Yi was puzzled. Why do you keep looking at me? Did I say something wrong? The only response she got was a pair of warm palms rubbing the top of her head a few times. Wait for me. When the man strode into the kitchen with his long legs, Xiang Yi suddenly realized that something was wrong. A good husband and a good father, they were just dating. What nonsense was she spouting? The untimely CP fans in the live stream all smiled at the same time. Shui, thank you, Sister E. I will try my best to be a good husband and a good father. Cute, am I the only one who thinks that Shurind's wait for me is a double entendre? The first meaning is, wait for me to bring you food. The second meaning is, wait for me to become your husband. Ha ha ha, quickly cover Xiao Naofu's eyes, we kittens can't watch this. However, it was too late. Xiao Naofu suffered another blow, and his heart was like dead ashes. This stupid woman doesn't have me in her heart. Xiao Naofu lay on the ground, paralyzed like a cat biscuit with its paws spread out like a crippled cat. Little Shiji anxiously circled around it, but no matter how much it licked its fur, Xiao Naofu remained indifferent. Until, a sweet and soft voice rang out softly. Xiao Naofu, look what this is. Dang dang dang, Xiao Naofu, no matter what this stupid woman takes out, I won't forgive her. In the next second, Xiangyi pulled over an oversized suitcase that was countless times larger than her backpack. Xiao Naofu, meow meow meow. Chapter 665. Are these? Xiao Naofu tried to suppress the excitement in its heart. Xiangyi opened the box, and as expected, it was full of things for Xiao Naofu. Canned cat food, cat snacks, cat toys. There was even a compilation CD of cartoons for kittens to watch. The audience was dumbfounded. Is this the legendary cat cartoon? You'll have to pay for the homophonic joke. Ha ha ha, Xiao Naofu's reaction is so funny. It went from lying down to wagging its tail. Baby, don't forget that you're a kitten. Why are you learning from little Shiji and Shui? Do you like it? Xiangyi asked with a smile while kneeling on the tatami. Xiao Naofu's eyes were glistening, and it couldn't help but scratch the toys with its paws. However, it was still acting very arrogant. Meow meow, it's just a so-so. Xiangyi put a golden bell on it, which made a crisp sound when she fiddled with it with her slender fingers. Xiao Naofu, meow. I don't want to wear this. This is the big tiger's favorite bell, meow. Meow. Really? I want to wear it. Shui came out with some food on a wooden tray, only to see that Lin Yiqian was coaxing the kitten. The corners of his lips curled into a smile. This is for our little Shiji. Xiangyi took out another red bell and put it on little Shiji's neck. Little Shiji nudged Xiao Naofu merrily. Woof. Xiao Naofu had a look of disdain. This silly dog is so annoying. Okay, now you guys are pretending to be brothers. Xiangyi was extremely satisfied and picked up her cell phone to take photos of the cat and dog. Both of them were very photogenic and looked good in all the photos. Xiao Naofu couldn't be bothered to pose and was cold and arrogant throughout. Little Shiji, on the other hand, was kissing, hugging, and licking it. It was a real bootlicker. The comments in the live stream, I'm willing to exchange 5 kilograms of fat for Xiao Naofu's soul. What do you mean by pretending to be brothers? They're obviously a couple. I'm so jealous. Even kittens get kisses. I'm already in my 20s, but I'm still dating my mother. Xiangyi took out a DVD player and put the disc in. The TV began to play a cartoon. Xiao Naofu and little Shiji squatted in front of the coffee table and watched with great interest. Since there were no guests, Xiangyi and Shui didn't pay much attention to the table and sat down to eat. The dinner that Shui made was very simple. Millet yam porridge, boiled vegetables, custard buns, and shrimp dumplings. Xiangyi tasted them one by one. How does it taste? Shui looked calm, but she was actually a little nervous. Xiangyi looked at him seriously and gave him 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Our Shui is the god of cooking, the genius of cooking, and the king of home-cooked dishes. There was no one who didn't love bootlicking. There was no one who didn't love the flattery of the person they liked. Shui lowered her long eyelashes to hide the look in her eyes, but she couldn't hide the smile at the corner of her mouth. Countless people in front of the screen were overwhelmed by her sweetness and almost forgot to question Xiangyi at the beginning. However, after the meal, Shui put the cutlery into the dishwasher while Xiangyi cooked some medicinal cuisine in a casserole pot. Steam rose from the pot, and the bitterness of the Chinese medicine mixed with the aroma of the ingredients wafted into everyone's noses. Li Jinyu sniffed and asked curiously, Sister E, what are you cooking? A medicinal cuisine to prevent viruses. Xiangyi looked at the camera and asked, "Do you guys want it? I can post it on Weibo." As soon as he said this, he stirred up 1,000 waves. Chapter 666. The comments in the live stream were quickly polarized. So amazing? Yes, yes, yes. What kind of god is Sister E? How can she do this? Huh, even foreign experts said that they were at a loss after seeing the results of the experiment. The development of a vaccine is still a long way off. How can you have the cheek to say that it can prevent viruses? Let me tell you a joke. There is a foreign doctor who uses cow urine to cure all diseases. Let me tell you another joke. There is a Chinese doctor who claims that he can prevent viruses by boiling soup. It's just a small conspiracy theory. Don't tell me she's colluding with a Chinese herbal medicine company to make a profit. The conflicting viewpoints instantly clashed. There were those who supported Xiangyi and those who criticized Xiangyi. Neither side was willing to give in to the other. All of a sudden, the comments section was filled with a foul atmosphere that was unbearable to look at. Xiangyi seemed to have expected such an outcome. She said calmly, everyone, just treat this medicinal cuisine as a simple supplement. I've made some adjustments and it tastes okay. The girl's slender and soft fingers tapped gently and she posted the medicinal cuisine recipe that she had sorted out on Weibo. There were detailed instructions on how to choose the ingredients, choose the pots, add the herbs in the order, the time and state of the boiling process, and so on. Everything was perfect. Some people followed the recipe, some scoffed, some mocked, and some even posted the recipe on foreign social media platforms in order to gain popularity. The title was very eye-catching. Oh my God. This is a stupid treatment method from the East. That person exaggerated the name of Chinese medicine and completely misinterpreted the meaning of Xiangyi's recipe. It was as if the translation of husband and wife lung slice was slicing the lungs of the husband and wife. The foreigners who didn't know the truth were confused when they saw the prescription. Oh my God. This is so backward. This isn't treating a disease, it's killing people. Unbelievable. Is China still a primitive society? How can they still believe that boiling water with grass and twigs can cure diseases? Why don't they believe in science? Don't they believe in Western medicine? Western medicine is the greatest and most sacred knowledge in this world. After Xiangyi's recipe went viral overseas, the netizens brought it back to Weibo to gossip. When the netizens saw these comments, they were immediately filled with righteous indignation and criticized Xiangyi for bringing shame to traditional Chinese medicine. Some even criticized Xiangyi for tarnishing the reputation of Hua Nation's medical community. The years of hard work of countless seniors in our country's medical field have all been destroyed. Medicinal cuisine to prevent viruses? That's absurd. What a joke. It wasn't traditional Chinese medicine that was misleading people, but Xiangyi. It wasn't traditional Chinese medicine that was misleading people, but Xiangyi. In the past, we were mocked as the sick men of East Asia. Now, are we going to be mocked for being backward in medicine? Xiangyi, oh, Xiangyi, haven't you made enough money in the entertainment industry? Why do you still want to taint the pure land of the medical world? Being a doctor is a profession that saves lives and heals the injured, not a tool for you to chase after false fame. Xiangyi, who was originally on the hot search list, was instantly drawn into the whirlpool of public opinion. And not only was she unaffected, but she was still asleep on the sofa. She was sleeping soundly and her breathing was shallow and even. Xiao Naofu, who had always been mischievous, sensed her fatigue and obediently laid beside her. It curled its little tail around her finger and soon began snoring. Little Shiji laid on the carpet beside the sofa and fell asleep with Xiao Naofu's favorite salted fish toy in his arms. The room was quiet and filled with the fragrance of herbs. Sure Sui, she slowly took out her crochet needle and calmly began knitting a new hair clip. The netizens were dumbfounded. Chapter 667. Is this still the refined, abstinent, aloof Sure Sui? You're too proficient in hooking the hairpin. Even Li Jianyu was stunned. In the viewfinder, Sure Sui's long and slender fingers were hooking the hairpin skillfully. He flipped it up and down, and soon, the outline of a rabbit's ear was vaguely visible. Li Jianyu muttered to himself, "Is this daddy sure? He's so strong and terrifying." The netizens watching the live stream had mixed feelings. His skills. Do you need needles? It's such a pity that such beautiful hands aren't used to knit sweaters. I always thought that Shui was the only one who could sew haute couture clothes and luxury wristwatches. I never thought that one day, I'd be sewn with needles. Weave. Hair. Card. I wanted to criticize Xiangyi, but why does she look so cute even when she's asleep? Damn. I can't criticize her anymore. I'd better follow Shui and knit the hairpin together. Yes, we're just so shameless. Spicy Tutu also noticed that Xiangyi was exhausted. Yi must be exhausted. She fell asleep as soon as she hit the bed. She looks like a worker who has worked overtime. Sister E is so pitiful. She gets criticized for everything she does, but some keyboard warriors, what have you done? I want to ask those who criticize Sister E, don't you have a heart? She rushed to the front line of the epidemic as soon as possible and treated the patients without rest. She's also the biggest contributor to the cure plan. What else do you want? Why are you holding Sister E to the standards of a saint and holding yourself to the standards of a slut? They really felt sorry for Xiangyi. The internet magnified the malice and hostility of people, and ordinary people would feel terrible after being criticized. Xiangyi had been criticized by the entire internet for such a long time. Prejudice and haters would always exist, and there were too many times that they felt powerless. However, they also wanted to work harder for her sake and make their voices carry more weight so that more people could hear them. In that case, they might be able to change something, right? As for the foodie fans, they chose to support Xiangyi in the simplest and most straightforward way. That night, there were people sharing their medicinal cuisine on various social media platforms. There were dark cuisines that overturned cars and fed to dogs, but the dogs wouldn't eat them. There were also some that were exquisitely decorated. Just looking at them would make people drool. The most popular one was the daily vlog of a food blogger. Today, we're going to make the medicinal cuisine shared by Sister E. I've already bought the herbs and ingredients. Here's the list. The blogger had a habit of keeping accounts. He showed the purchase list to the camera, and every item was clearly marked. I saw a lot of netizens scolding her for being a money grubber. To be honest, this medicinal cuisine recipe is the most conscientious I've ever seen. Ordinary medicinal cuisine can easily cost hundreds of yuan. If you add some expensive medicinal herbs, it will be even more expensive. But when I followed Xiangyi's prescription, I only spent a little more than 100. Anyway, I feel that it's really worth it to spend 100 yuan to nourish the body, regardless of whether it can prevent the virus. After the blogger was done with his long-winded speech, he fast-forwarded the cooking process and skipped to the final stage. The pot is ready. I can already smell the aroma. It's so fragrant. I'm starting to suspect that this isn't a medicinal cuisine, but Buddha jumps over the wall. A bullet comment flashed past. How much did the blogger charge Xiangyi for a medicinal cuisine recipe? She's bragging to the heavens. The next second, the lid of the pot was lifted, and the rising steam gathered, creating a vast expanse of white. A few seconds later, everyone could clearly see what was inside the pot. Chapter 668. A few seconds later, the camera focused and everyone could see what was inside the casserole. Unlike the dark Chinese medicine that he had imagined, the soup in the pot was surprisingly bright and clean. Wow, just by looking at the color, I can tell that this soup is going to taste terrible, the blogger exclaimed excitedly. He used a spoon to flip the ingredients at the bottom of the casserole, only to see that they had all been stewed until soft and tender. It was extremely appetizing. Gulp. The clear sound of the blogger swallowing his saliva could be heard in the video. I'm not afraid of you laughing at me, but I've recorded so many food videos, and sometimes I get tired of them too. The blogger rubbed his head at the camera and smiled honestly. I don't even have an appetite for delicacies. Doesn't it sound a little like Versailles literature? While talking, he nimbly scooped up the residue of a few Chinese medicinal herbs. But today, this medicinal cuisine is no exaggeration. It really makes me hungry. How should he describe it? It was the kind of taste that he hadn't tasted in a long time. Although it was very simple and plain, just smelling it made him hungry. He wanted to pick up the bowl and chopsticks and finish 2 bowls of rice. Real-time pop-up comments, that's a little exaggerated, keep acting, keep acting. Self-media bloggers these days are really going to die if they don't do sponsored partnerships. So be it. At least don't make it so disgusting, right? Anyway, just hearing the name Xiangyi makes me want to vomit. In the next second, the blogger scooped up the residue of the Chinese medicinal herbs and eagerly scooped a bowl into a white porcelain bowl. He didn't even bother to pick up a spoon and simply took a sip. He froze on the spot. The netizens were confused. What's going on? Is the network lagging? Why is the video still? For a moment, the pop-up comments were filled with question marks. After a full 10 seconds, the audience finally saw the vlogger's eyeballs move a little, his pupils dilated and his mouth was slightly agape. He was obviously extremely shocked. What the F***ck? He couldn't help but curse. His voice was shockingly loud. This is 2F***king delicious ah. The audience was confused. Earphone fans died on the spot. Oh my god, that shout almost sent me away. You don't even need to think to know that it's all an act. Come on, does it matter if you haven't drunk it before? It tastes no different from poison, right? But looking at her expression, it really doesn't look like she's acting. And I'm hungry from watching the video QAQ. I've already ordered an abalone pork belly chicken soup delivery. Really, I'm not lying to you. If I lied to you, I'll cut off my penis to atone for my sins. The blogger was extremely intoxicated. He held the bowl and gulped it down in one gulp. Even though the heat made him grimace in pain, he was still grinning from ear to ear. Thus, the scene became rather strange. The man was so hot that his mouth and eyes were crooked, and his facial features were distorted, but he was still laughing wildly, as if he was having a seizure. It was the kind that could scare children to tears at any moment. In the next second, something even more shocking happened. Blogger, friends in front of the screen, cheers. He actually picked up the clay pot and gulped it down. Schwa, the originally sparse bullet screen suddenly became densely packed. Young hero, you have such strong arms. Is this the legendary Heartless Iron Mouth? Big brother, you're just doing sponsored partnerships to clear your name. You don't have to work so hard. Are you trying to torture him or something? That night, a creepy video began to circulate all over the internet. It was called, Contemporary Food Blogger Rewarded for Bewitching Behavior. Chapter 669. Countless curious netizens clicked on the video, only to see an impactful scene. Viewers and friends, I'll drink first. Immediately afterward, the food blogger picked up the casserole pot and gulped it down. Coupled with strong rhythmic music and all kinds of gory material, although the video was nonsensical, it made people laugh from beginning to end. While the netizens were laughing, they didn't forget to like, forward, and share it. The popularity of the video grew, and it even set a record of 10 million views in one night. The next day, as soon as the food blogger woke up, he turned on his phone sleepily, ready to interact with his fans. But in an instant, the red number of new fans on the screen entered his sight. +498754. He shuddered and instantly sobered up. After all, he had only about 1 million fans in total. But just last night, his number had increased by almost 500,000. What was going on? Was there a bug in the platform he had signed with? Trembling, he clicked on the various data and finally understood what had happened. It turned out that the video he had posted yesterday had gone viral. At the same time, all kinds of review videos popped up like bamboo shoots after a rain. In the age of the internet, there was no shortage of people who wanted to ride on the hype, nor was there a shortage of people who wanted to watch the fun. Let's see how delicious Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine is. Shocking. Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine recipe is too awesome. Sister Yi's medicinal cuisine is so good, I'll take a sip and a pot. Sister E is a fake. All the netizens were confused. Weren't they all scolding Xiangyi yesterday? Why did the wind change today? Heh, could it be that they were all paid? The netizens who didn't believe it clicked on a video. TSK, it's just a so-so. Heh, it must be an act. Huh. Why does it feel a little delicious? F***CK. Ah, I'm starving. Why is every video here? Is it delicious? Countless netizens really enjoyed it. The public opinion changed from Xiangyi is slandering Chinese medicine and selling medicine for money to who cares if it's effective or not, it's fine as long as it's delicious. Moreover, because the ingredients and herbs were cheap and the recipe was extremely detailed, many people followed the trend. There were more and more bootlicking comments on the internet. She cooked an entire pot, but I haven't tasted it yet. Everyone at home has already shared it. It's really delicious. I have mild anorexia, but Xiangyi's medicinal cuisine is amazing. Not only does it whet my appetite, but it's also delicious. I feel like my anorexia has been cured without treatment. I don't know if it's because of psychological reasons, but after Grandma stewed a pot of it last night, she said she felt much better after drinking it this morning. She was coughing a little at first, but it's completely stopped now. The manner. Li Jianyu scrolled through Weibo in a daze. There was a flood of good reviews. Those who praised Sister E simply couldn't wait to praise her and her medicinal cuisine. Sister E can't really have some kind of miraculous magic, can she? He muttered to himself in a daze. Ruan Qing held a cup of coffee and smiled like a flower. Some people's light can't be blocked. Because Sister E was destined to shine brightly, destined to shine brightly. No matter how many people with ulterior motives wanted to drag her into the endless abyss, it would be meaningless. But that medicinal cuisine seems to be really useful. Last night, Sister E fell asleep and Dad sure gave me a bowl. My waist doesn't ache anymore, my legs don't hurt anymore, and my breathing is especially smooth. Li Jianyu teased. Seems like this medicine is quite effective as a placebo. Medically speaking, placebos had no therapeutic effect. Chapter 670. It was just a form of comfort and could be called a fake medicine. Li Jianyu naturally believed in Xiangyi's medical skills. The fact that a pot of medicinal cuisine could prevent the virus was beyond his knowledge since he was a child. In his opinion, one had to take medicine, get injections, or be put on an intravenous drip. Ruan Qing took a sip of coffee and said leisurely, I think this medicinal cuisine is indeed effective. Huh? No way, honey, this doesn't make sense at all. Who are you calling your wife? Huh? Ruan Qing raised her eyebrows. Li Jianyu immediately chickened out. I was wrong, I'm guilty, I'll kneel down. Ruan Qing smiled and said, wait a minute, the durian I bought online will be here soon. Li Jianyu was speechless. Jokes aside, Ruan Qing analyzed seriously. What do you think of Sister Yi's art? Of course it's good. Otherwise, she wouldn't have joined the team of experts. Actually, I don't have a clear understanding of her medical skills. However, I don't believe in her medical skills, but in her as a person. Let me ask you, when has she ever disappointed anyone? Li Jianyu was stunned. In retrospect, be it her culinary skills, sanxian, traditional Chinese medicine, or martial arts, Xiangyi had always surprised others. A bold idea suddenly surfaced in his mind, and he felt as if his blood was rushing to his head. Can this medicinal cuisine really prevent the virus? Wouldn't that be at least 1 or 2 years ahead of vaccines? If that's true, Li Jianyu didn't dare to think further. Xiangyi had a long sleep. She didn't even go for her morning exercise. She only woke up when it was almost noon. As soon as she went out, she saw Shi Sui playing with Xiao Naofu and little Shiji in the courtyard. The game was very simple. Shi Sui raised his hand and threw a tennis ball, while little Shiji bounced around to pick it up. The variable was Xiao Naofu. The kitten's legs were short and fat. It wanted to play the game, but its stamina couldn't keep up. Hence, it rode on little Shiji. In the live stream, the netizens were watching with great interest. Xiao Naofu on top and little Shiji on the bottom. Dog, the fur on Xiao Naofu's head is all messed up. I can rub 10 of such kittens in a day. Shuringdi looks so handsome even when he's throwing a ball. The child in my stomach is about to have a new father. Hearing footsteps, Shui turned around. The girl was wearing furry home clothes. Perhaps because she had just woken up, she looked a little confused. Did you sleep well? He asked gently. Xiang Yi nodded. I've finally made up for it. During this period of time, the little girl was indeed exhausted. There were a few days when she almost didn't sleep or rest. Even her iron body couldn't take it. Shui, what's next? Do we still need to go to the West Continent? He didn't have the heart to wake her up when he saw her sleeping so soundly last night. Little Shiji returned with the ball in its mouth. Xiangyi squatted down and stroked little Shiji's and Xiao Naofu's heads before throwing the ball far away. Little Shiji carried Xiao Naofu and chased after the ball. There's no need. The epidemic has stabilized. If there's any problem, we can just video call. The little girl said nonchalantly, as if she had just done something trivial in the past few days. Hearing the girl's calm tone, someone in the live stream retorted. I think she might have been kicked out of the team of experts because she's not competent enough. Foreign experts have said that if this epidemic occurs overseas, the medical system will collapse. Where does Xiangyi get her confidence from? Does she think that our medical standards are better than those overseas? Chapter 671. To be honest, all the experts are still fighting in the West Continent. You, the youngest one, came back just like that. What's the difference between you and a deserter on the battlefield? You deserve it. The netizens' dissatisfaction mostly stemmed from some subtle jealousy. How old is Xiangyi? She's only 20 years old. What right does she have to be an all-rounder and be adored by everyone? Even her medical skills rank first among the top experts in the country. This is ridiculous. Hence, they were desperately looking for excuses to prove that Xiangyi was just a so-so. All-rounder? She's just average. Adored by everyone? It's obviously an act. The whole family is working together to create hype. There are clearly so many unfortunate families in the world. Number 1 on the medical contribution list? It's just Grandpa paving the way for her. How can she be better than a well-respected old doctor? In the manner. Shui didn't ask much. Instead, she gently pinched the plush ball on the girl's home clothes and said, Sister E, it's been hard on you. Welcome home. The light fell on him with incredible gentleness. Xiangyi felt as if a feather had brushed past her heart, making her feel numb and ticklish. So it's true that the same words are said by different people, I'll have a different state of mind. Xiangyi cleared her throat, her milky white face full of seriousness. I won't make you wait so long in the future. Shui chuckled and said, Okay, Sister E, you're good. As she spoke, she put a newly knitted hair clip on the girl's hair. The white bunny ears were circled with pink wool. They were cute, soft, and much more exquisite than the first one she knitted. It didn't look like something she had just knitted. Xiangyi touched it with her hand, but she couldn't see it herself. Hence, she tilted her head and asked the cameraman, Old Zhang, does this look good? The experienced old Zhang's hands trembled violently. No one would be able to withstand such a critical blow from his peerless beauty. The fans in front of the screen were even more so. For a moment, the comments section was filled with excitement. Nice. Xiang Yi, you're the prettiest in the universe. Bunny with rabbit ears. Amazing. Amazing. Even covering my mouth couldn't stop me from screaming. Has Shuringdi really only been learning for a few days? The lousy students are crying. Is this man's learning talent so strong? Questioning voices would not be late. The medical staff is bleeding and crying on the front line, but you're at home being lovey-dovey? You really don't treat other medical staff as human beings, do you? A kind reminder, you've already embarrassed yourself overseas. If you have time, I suggest you check out the foreign websites to see how much Chinese medicine has been slandered because of you. First, you boasted that the treatment plan is at the top of the contribution list, and now you're saying that a pot of soup can prevent viruses. Miss Xiang, why don't you ride the wind and soar to the skies? Suddenly, a staff member hurriedly ran over. Sister E, hurry up and change your clothes. Xianyi guest, is there a guest? No. The staff member had not recovered from his panic and stammered, so many people. There were also the media, and reporters. I heard that there might be a live stream. The haters in the live stream perked up when they heard this. This staff member is so flustered, it's definitely not a good thing. Seems like he's here to expose Xianyi's true colors. Indeed, if one's virtue doesn't match their position, there's bound to be trouble. Chapter 672. Is she trying to show off and fail? How satisfying. Finally, someone can deal with her. She's a deserter and she's stealing credit. She should be criticized. A group of people were criticizing her as if Xianyi had already been nailed to the pillar of shame. The spicy tutu fans, on the other hand, began to speculate curiously. Did your IQ run away from home? Is it really that easy to fool an official matchmaker? Wow, let me make a bold guess. Are they here to give Sister E a little red flag? After all, our E Mei is a warm-hearted citizen, Miss Xiang. I also think they're here to praise Sister E. After all, Sister E has made such a great contribution. Some haters are just blind. They only see what they want to see and believe what they want to believe. It is the essence. Sister, there's no book for you in the bookstore. I'm going to smash the bookstore. Li Jianyu was also a little confused and worried that something bad would happen. Just as he was about to go talk to them himself, Xianyi casually tied her hair into a bun and said calmly, "Don't panic, I'll go take a look." The staff member asked, "Huh? Why am I being comforted by Sister E? Is there something wrong?" Shi Sui said, "I'll go with you." Hence, the two of them walked leisurely towards the main entrance like an old couple taking a stroll. Everyone at the scene was speechless. The netizens watching the live stream were also speechless. Both of them had excellent body proportions, and from the back, they looked like big shots. Also, so sweet, so sweet. The feeling of facing everything together, no matter what the road ahead was really heart-wrenching. At the main entrance, Yu Fujimoto climbed up the black iron gate. Through the fence, he could vaguely see the cars and people gathered outside. The door opened automatically. Hearing the sound, the reporters outside quickly set up their cameras as if they were on a battlefield. Their movements were neat and uniform, and all of them were aimed at Xianyi. Li Jianyu and the others, who were following behind, saw this scene and were a little confused. Li Jianyu was in a trance. Why do I feel like Daddy sure is outdated? In the live stream, Sister Shi Sui made fun of herself. Be more confident, get rid of your feelings. After all, our Shi Sui is a gigolo. Seeing that Shi Sui is finally living off a woman, his old mother shed tears of relief. The other netizens were speechless. What's going on? Other than Spicy Tutu, was there another Shi Sui sister among the abnormal fans in the fan circle? For a moment, I don't know if you guys are real fans or not. But soon, everyone's attention was attracted by the reporter's voice. Sister E, look at how thin you've become. I smell the aroma. Sister E, I have a colleague who wants to try your cooking. Bah. Shameless. The colleague you're talking about is yourself. Sister E, don't listen to him. I'm fine with the leftovers. His words, which were as intimate as daily life, subverted everyone's imagination. Some netizens recognized that many of them were famous reporters from major television stations. Whether it was in terms of professionalism or popularity, they were impeccable. In the past, when they interviewed others, most of them were very aloof. But today, it was Sister E, why are they so affectionate? Xiangyi nodded slightly and insisted, "Hello. Hello, Miss Xiang." As soon as the bespectacled man in the middle of the crowd spoke, the surroundings quietened down. "Sorry to disturb you, we're the reporters who previously agreed to do a joint interview with you. We received the news a few minutes ago. May I ask, how do you feel about being selected as the National Hero of the Year?" Chapter 673. Be it the live audience or the netizens in front of the screen, they were all stunned. What did I just hear? National Meritorious Minister of the Year? Although they didn't know what this award was, with the word national in front of it, it sounded very impressive. In the live stream, what the F***ck? What's going on? Huh? These people aren't here to criticize Sister E, but to praise Sister E? I went to search, this award is so F***king impressive. Simply put, the winners are all people who have made great contributions to the country. I'll give you two simple examples. One of the winners last time was a Nobel Prize laureate, while the other achieved a global breakthrough in the field of materials. The live stream was in an uproar. What was the most ruthless slap to the face? It wasn't a slap, but a casual slap. From beginning to end, the other party didn't take them seriously, but they wished they could slap themselves a few times. The netizens who had been arguing non-stop were all dumbfounded at this moment. At the venue, Xiangyi was slightly stunned and said humbly, "It's an honor, but I don't deserve it." The refined reporter pushed his glasses up his nose bridge and said with a smile, "No, I think you deserve it." As everyone knows, Miss Xiang discovered an ancient prescription for dealing with the epidemic in an unpopular medical book and made ingenious improvements to it, which made the treatment plan possible. The netizens were speechless. Previously, the morning news report was not detailed enough. In fact, the TV station wanted to do an exclusive interview, but they didn't expect that due to some people's biased understanding, it would lead to a misunderstanding. Now, the reporter's words had undoubtedly clarified for Xiangyi. Furthermore, he had clearly stated her contributions. She was the one who discovered the ancient prescription and improved it. If she wasn't first on the list of contributions to the treatment plan, who else could be first? That wasn't the end of it. The other reporters asked one after another. "Sister E, what do you think of the role of Chinese medicine and Western medicine in this epidemic?" "Sister E, your preventive medicinal diet has been tested in clinical trials, and it has been confirmed that it has a 90% chance of being effective. How did you come up with this idea?" "Sister E, the epidemic in the West Continent has subsided in less than half a month. The experts all said that it was all thanks to you that you could come back and rest. Are you still planning to go back?" One question after another was like a powerful fist, hitting the bar spirit's face from all angles. Countless people in front of their screens were speechless. Therefore, the treatment plan was discovered and innovated by Xiangyi, and it was ranked first on the contribution list. The preventive diet was invented and promoted by Xiangyi, and it was really effective. Saying that he was a deserter was even more groundless. He didn't want to return. It was the experts who begged Xiangyi to come back and rest. The girl, who was dressed in home clothes and looked like a little sister next door, answered the question calmly. There are boundaries in science, but there are no boundaries in medicine. Chinese medicine is good at grasping the whole, and Western medicine is good at precise treatment. If we can combine them, I think we can save more people's health. Medicinal diets have a long history in our country. Not only can they nourish the body and strengthen the immune system, but they can also treat and prevent some mild diseases. However, it's important to note that medicinal diets are not omnipotent. If you fall sick, you must see a doctor. Remember that. As for the West Continent, of course, I'll go there. The girl's eyes curved. When everything is settled, I want to try all the delicacies in the West Continent. Chapter 674. Xiangyi's answer was gentle and gentle, neither servile nor overbearing. She quickly won the favor of the viewers in the live stream. What kind of treasure is this girl? I suddenly realized that Xiangyi's EQ is quite high. Our kid is awesome. Baby, you're mama's pride. I'm from Xi continent, and to be honest, I'm tired of hearing other people say that they hope She continent will get better soon, but Sister Yi's words about wanting to taste all the delicacies in She continent are so offensive. At the same time, the official live stream was also in progress. Dressed in pink and white home clothes and wearing a knitted tutu earring hairpin, Xiang Yi was extremely adorable to the viewers, be it when she answered the interview seriously or when she smiled. We all know that Miss Xiang has posted the recipe for the medicinal cuisine on Weibo, but the audience on Weibo may be young people. I hope that through this interview, Sister Yi can publicize the recipe again so that more elderly people can benefit from it. Xiang Yi nodded solemnly. You're right. Nowadays, the internet was developing rapidly, but the elderly seemed to have been abandoned by the times. Many elderly people didn't know how to pay with their mobile phones, use navigation software, or even use WeChat. Not to mention browsing Weibo and recording recipes. Other media outlets also recorded the interview with cameras and voice recorders, so as to create the widest influence possible through more channels. After all, that was what the media should be doing. Under the expectant gazes of the crowd, Xiang Yi cleared her throat and slowly said in a voice that was several times louder than before. Uncle, Auntie, Grandpa, Grandma, can you hear me? The live stream viewers, earphone fans died on the spot. Xiang Yi is toxic. Why is she shouting? My ears are hurting. Those in front, you have hands and feet, can't you turn down the volume yourself? Sister Yi is obviously afraid that some elderly people won't know how to turn down the volume and won't be able to hear her clearly. No one said anything else. Instead, in many families across the country, gray-haired elderly people responded to Xiang Yi. Okay, I heard her. I heard her, I heard her. This girl's voice is really loud. It sounds good. The little girl deliberately slowed down her speech and was extremely patient. She explained every ingredient and medicinal herb clearly. The reporters felt her kindness and all of them laughed silently. The official TV station also made an exception and extended the broadcast time for her. The channel was cold, but the people behind the channel could feel the warmth. Sometimes, exceptions were needed. After Xiang Yi finished speaking, she repeated it briefly and asked loudly, "Do you remember it?" In the live stream, the hostility was gone. Instead, it was replaced by positive comments. Remember. Please praise me. Ha 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 ha, my grandma is listening so seriously. She even wrote it down in a notebook. In the past, I didn't realize that my father had a hearing problem. He was afraid of affecting us, so he always turned the volume down and watched the news expressionlessly. Today, when I saw him smile at Xiang Yi, I realized that he could only hear Xiang Yi's voice clearly. I'm going to bring him for a physical examination in the afternoon. The interview came to an end. Last question, Sister Yi, what do you want to say to your family? Unknowingly, the reporter who called her Miss Xiang also called her Sister Yi. Chapter 675. The fair-skinned girl blinked her long black eyelashes. I don't seem to have anything to say. A few bickering comments appeared in the live stream. Oh, you're not going to F***ck your group's pet persona anymore? Now that you're famous, you've forgotten about your family. Let's be honest, can you get to where you are today without your family? Who would care about you? I'm dying of laughter. However, Xiang Yi's next sentence was, I basically video call my family every day. If everyone is free, I'll also video call them together in the group chat. The Xiang family was much closer than ordinary families. Her grandparents, uncles, and brothers doted on Xiang Yi, and it was never a one-sided relationship. Xiang Yi would occasionally scroll through funny videos or read interesting books. Whenever she made a new dish, she would immediately share it with her family. The trolls? Sorry for the interruption. When will the live stream have a retraction function? If you can't come home often, then contact me often. The girl faced the camera with a faint smile. A hint of a smile flashed across the refined reporter's eyes behind his glasses. He suddenly understood the reason why those experts doted on her. Which elder wouldn't love a gentle and sensible girl like her? Then that's it for the interview. He was about to end the process when the girl suddenly said, but I have something to say to him. The girl held Shui's hand, and under the latter's slightly surprised gaze, she said shyly but firmly, "I've always missed you." The man's eyes were deep and dark in an instant. Subconsciously, he grabbed the girl's slender wrist. His big hand held her small hand, their fingers intertwined. Ahem, that's it. Xiangyi looked at the camera. This isn't off topic, because he's also my family. Bang, bang, bang. Shui felt as if someone had set off a large fireworks display in his heart, causing his emotions to surge and explode in an overwhelming manner. His upbringing was the complete opposite of Xiangyi's. The relationship between the Shui family members was indifferent, and he was also very estranged from his biological parents. Father Shui's love for Mother Shui was passionate and grand, but also crazy and paranoid. Father Shui had a strong sense of possessiveness. In the beginning, he only restricted Mother Shui from making friends and going out. Later on, because of some mental illness, he directly restricted Mother Shui from going out. This was what civilization said. From a legal point of view, it was a violation of personal freedom. The differences between the parents were getting bigger and bigger. Every day, the house was filled with the sounds of quarreling, crying, and things being smashed. At that time, Shui's biggest wish was to have no family. But now, the gentle and soft girl was blushing from her ears to her neck. She was obviously embarrassed, but she still expressed her feelings in front of everyone and the camera. He wasn't just a boyfriend. It was his family. For the first time, Shui felt the beauty of this word. Yes. He responded in a low voice. His voice was hoarse and mixed with some inexplicable emotions. He was clearly happy. I miss you too. All the reporters, who would have thought that such a positive interview still couldn't escape the fate of being eaten dog food. Okay, thank you Sister E for accepting our interview. I wish Sister E and your family happiness and health forever. The refined reporter closed with a smile. In the live broadcast room, the CP fans couldn't help but celebrate. I don't care, I don't care. This is the official satellite TV testifying to untimely couples' marriage. Chapter 676. Hello everyone, I'm the Civil Affairs Bureau. I'm here. Hello everyone, I'm the flower boy. I'm scattering flowers online. Heart suit, hello everyone, I'm Yu Lao. I announce that the red string between these two has been locked. I've swallowed the key. They must be together for the rest of their lives. The interview came to an abrupt end when Shui and Xiangyi looked at each other and smiled. However, the live broadcast was still ongoing. Thus, the audience in the live broadcast room discovered, the professional reporters, who had been busy just a moment ago, gave Xiangyi a simple and honest smile. Some of the more timid ones were so scared that they trembled. What's going on? This scene is too much like a zombie movie. Everyone was too embarrassed to speak first. In the end, it was the refined reporter who said what everyone was thinking. Ahem, Sister E, it's almost time for dinner. We've prepared some ingredients, I wonder if we can. The Chinese language was broad and profound. The appropriate amount of blankness created an indescribable effect. Xiangyi immediately understood. Everyone has worked hard. Why don't you stay for a meal? The atmosphere suddenly became familiar and cheerful. Okay, thank you, Sister E. Sister E, don't worry, I'll definitely only eat one bowl of rice. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Sister E, I'll help you feed the pigs. What are you doing? Snatch the job. Let me tell you, I'll make it clear. I'll fight anyone who tries to snatch the job from me. The netizens, fine, they were used to it. Sister Yi's routine was over. The refined reporter smiled and said, thank you for your hospitality then. The group entered the manor. Even though many people had watched the live broadcast, they were still shocked by the picturesque scenery of the countryside. There was a glass greenhouse, a large vegetable field, chickens, ducks, pigs, and geese, as well as a small rabbit farm in the distance. It was simply a place where the gods lived. The group of reporters rolled up their sleeves and rolled up their trousers, working very smoothly. The large yard became lively. The reporters had brought a lot of ingredients. After some thought, Xiangyi moved the barbecue grill that she hadn't used in a long time to the yard and began to process the ingredients. The meat was marinated with eggs, starch, salt, oyster sauce, and so on. She also specially marinated spicy and pickled pepper. Shrimp paste, chopped, mixed with cooking wine, egg white, bean powder, and a small amount of white sugar. The vegetables were washed and neatly arranged in white or wooden utensils, to form a harmonious color. In addition, he took a 9-grid electric hot pot and skewered the fresh hand-beaten beef balls, fish balls, kelp, tofu, and other wooden skewers delivered by Little Rabbit Farm in the morning. After adjusting the taste of the soup base, it instantly defeated the odor from the convenience store. The fragrance filled the air, and not long after, the sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard everywhere. Whoa, this is too fragrant, I can't stop drooling. Is this how Sister E cooking? It's terrifying. The little girl she thinking thought she's down, the refined reporter asked curiously, Sister E, what's troubling you? Why don't you tell us? We can help you think of a solution. 3 cobblers are better than zhuge, not to mention there were so many of them. I'm thinking about what to make for the main dish. After a pause, the girl's gaze fell on the chicken coop. I've already thought of it. It's just those chickens. I think they have low blood sugar. The refined reporter? Xiangyi said sadly, looks like I'll have to add more sugar when I fry them. The refined reporter? Chapter 677. The audience's reaction was exactly the same as that of the refined reporters. Little kid, are you as confused as I am? Chicken, oh. Are you listening? Speak. Adding sugar while frying is okay. Sister E, are you trying to make me laugh to death so you can inherit my summer homework? The bullet screen was filled with heartache for the chicken. Xiangyi caught the chicken at lightning speed. The scene of killing the chicken was too gory, so the cameraman didn't film it. By the time the shot was taken again, the chickens were already in a row and lying cleanly on the chopping board. The situation immediately changed. Chicken bro, have a safe journey, candle. A family should be neat and tidy. Dog head, so cruel. Sister E, can you send me a copy when you're done? I'm different. Sister E, tell me where your house is. I can send myself over for a meal. In the kitchen. Xiangyi was going to make rock and roll fried chicken today. This dish is very simple to cook. Everyone can try it. Xiangyi heated up the oil in the pot while interacting with the audience. After the oil was heated, she first added ginger slices and stir-fried them until they were fragrant. Then, she added the peppercorns to make the sauce smell. Finally, she added the small pieces of chicken. The soul of the rock and roll fried chicken, sweet sauce, was naturally indispensable. The girl's movements were neat, and her slender body had great explosive power. From time to time, she would toss the ladle. The audience cheered, I can do it, I can do it. After stir-frying the chicken until the water evaporated, she added bone broth to the pot, brought it to a boil, and simmered it over low heat. Finally, she added green pepper, small pepper, onion, and rock sugar to add a rich spiciness and freshness. After stir-frying it evenly, it was ready to serve. In the yard, the reporters had already eaten barbecue and odon. Xiangyi's special sauce was unanimously praised. This chili powder is amazing. It's worthy of being a super chili cultivated by a scientific research institute. Sister E actually knows how to make sauce. God, is there anything she can't do? The odon is 10,000 times better than the ones I buy at the convenience store. The meatballs are so fresh. Sure enough, the most high-end ingredients only require the simplest cooking techniques. Everyone couldn't stop praising her. They couldn't wait to write an 800-word press release to prove how delicious Xiangyi's condiments and meatballs were. Until, a strong fragrance drifted along with the wind to the tip of everyone's nose. The actions of the group of people were like copy and paste, and they all turned to the source of the fragrance. He saw Xiangyi walking out of the kitchen with a big basin. Someone in the live stream commented, she's a guest, isn't it a little inappropriate to put her in a basin? You should at least put it on a plate. This comment was quickly rebutted. Watch if you want, get lost if you don't. Do you know why Xiao Ming's grandmother can live to the age of 80? Because his grandmother never meddles in other people's business. It must have been hard for you to grow up to this age. It's a miracle that you haven't been beaten to death after so long. This wave of attacks from the foodie fans instantly shut down the haters. Most of the time, foodie fans were very passive, but there was one exception. It was mealtime. Arguing at such a time was even more infuriating than throwing away their milk tea or throwing away their fried chicken. At this time, the young girl's clear and sweet voice, like the sound of nature, clearly passed into everyone's ears. The rock and roll fried chicken is here, in an instant. Countless people in front of the screen, like swordsmen drawing their swords, solemnly, they pulled out their chopsticks. Chapter 678. The camera zoomed in on the steaming hot rock fried chicken in the pot. The chicken was tender and fragrant. The broth was thick and the fried chicken was bright red, matching the color of the onions and green peppers. A thin layer of white sesame seeds was sprinkled on top. Just one look was enough to whet one's appetite. There was nothing fancy about it. There were only 3 words to describe it: fragrant, hungry, gluttonous. Gulp. In front of the screen, many people had already begun to swallow their saliva. The reporters in the courtyard weren't any better as their eyes were glued to the dish. The main dishes are rice and stewed noodles, Xiangyi added. The stewed noodles can be eaten like the big plate chicken and mixed with the broth at the end. Recalling the way to eat the big plate chicken, everyone felt that the deliciousness of this rock-fried chicken had risen to another level. The refined reporter had the most experience. He said, "Everyone, let's dig in." The group of reporters, like hungry wolves, picked up their chopsticks and picked up the chicken pieces. The most important feeling when the chicken was in the mouth was its tenderness. The faint fragrance of the sauce wrapped around the chicken. It was slightly sweet in the mouth, but the aftertaste was rich with layers of salty and spicy. The broth had completely soaked into the meat, and with one bite, it felt like the juices were about to burst. Paired with the steamed rice, it was no exaggeration to say that half a bowl of rice would be no problem with a mouthful of fried chicken. Paired with a glass of cold beer or cola, it was as if the depths of one's soul began to tremble. Strangely, no one at the table spoke. The only thing the audience could hear was the sound of food being chewed. F***ck. This damned stereo sound. I'm having a great time eating instant noodles in front of the screen. Today's fried chicken is so delicious. Director Lee, come out for a chat. Last time you said you wanted to update the equipment. It was all for the sake of filming food, right? Where's your original intention? Are you here to film a variety show or a mukbang broadcast? Xiangyi knew that Shi Sui's taste was relatively light, so she specially made a light meal for him. The two of them sat at the side and ate the vegetables, enjoying the feeling of peace and quiet. Do you want some soup? Xiangyi asked. I also made seaweed and egg soup, it's in the kitchen. Before Shi Sui could say anything, someone immediately said, I'll get it. How can I let Sister E work for me? The man happily scooped the soup, but Shi Sui's phone suddenly vibrated. He glanced at the caller ID and raised his eyebrows slightly before answering the call. After a few words, the call ended. He looked at Xiangyi and said helplessly, my little nephew has no one to take care of him these 2 days. His parents want to send him over to stay temporarily. Xiangyi had an impression of her little nephew. She had met him during Xiang Yin's 60th birthday banquet. He was a decent and adorable little boy. The little girl had always liked the cubs of all kinds of creatures. Her eyes curved into crescents. Okay, what does he like to eat? I'll make them for him. Shi Sui felt slightly unhappy, but she didn't show it. She said calmly, he's not picky about food. He can eat anything. As he spoke, the staff member led a little boy over and said somewhat helplessly, there was a couple who left the child behind just now. They said they were looking for Shi Sui. Everyone's gaze simultaneously fell on the little boy she was holding. The boy was about 4 or 5 years old. He was delicate, and adorable. He had a head of naturally curly chestnut hair and was wearing a British-style shirt and suspenders. He also had a pair of well-polished leather shoes on his feet. The only thing that was out of place was his expressionless face. Chapter 679. Shiryu? Xiangni stood up and called the little boy's name. Shiryu kept a straight face and nodded like an old man. Hello, Sister Xiangni. Xiangni said, wow, you still remember me. It had been a few months since she had transmigrated to the past when she met Shiryu. It was rare for a child of his age to be able to accurately call out her name. She walked up to Shiryu and blinked. Can I hold your hand? Shiryu obediently placed his little hand in her palm. He secretly glanced at Shui. The man's face darkened visibly. He walked up to Shui. The man had a strong aura and looked over indifferently. Shiryu braced himself and greeted, hello, uncle. Shui said, hello. Then, that was it. The uncle and nephew fell into a strange silence. The netizens were speechless. Were these two people biological uncle and nephew? Why did it feel like they were more polite than passers-by? Fortunately, Xiangni came to the rescue in time and asked gently, are you hungry? Is there anything you want to eat? The fragrance of rock and roll fried chicken, barbecue, and Odin rushed into Shiryu's nose crazily. The little boy used all his self-control to control himself and said the words, I want to eat, in a reserved and appropriate manner. Thank you, sister. I've had lunch. Do you want to eat the cake? Do you want to watch cartoons? Or tell you a story? Xiangni was always very patient with cubs, especially good-looking ones. Shiryu's clear black and white eyes widened as if he couldn't understand. Was there such a happy thing in the world? He scratched his head uncomfortably and rubbed his eyes. Xiangni misunderstood these movements. Are you sleepy? Then I'll take you to take a nap, okay? The little boy pretended to be cold, but his voice had the unique tenderness and softness of a child. Okay. Xiangni held Shiryu's hand and left. The reporters smiled mischievously and winked. Shirindi, Sister E is quite good at taking care of children. That's right. When are you going to get married? Should we consider having a second child? After all, the 3-child policy is open now. Gossip was human nature. Even famous reporters were no exception. Shui sneered and did not answer. Children? He did not like it. As for Shiryu, thinking of Xiangni's attitude towards him, Shui couldn't help grinding his teeth. In the guest room, the staff brought over a car-shaped suitcase. Shiryu took out his pajamas and was about to change when he suddenly realized something. He looked up at Xiangni and pursed his lips in embarrassment. Sister, I want to change my clothes. Ah, I'm sorry, I'll leave now. Shiryu was silent for a few seconds before he carefully made a request that he would never dare to make at home. Sis, can you tell me a bedtime story? Huh? Xiangni was stunned for a moment before she nodded. Okay, then you can change first. I'll go to the bathroom. Shiryu's eyes sparkled as if they were filled with stars, but he pretended not to care. Yes, okay. He vaguely looked like Shui. Xiangni went into the bathroom and called the system in her mind. Help me search for a few fairy tales. Xiangni ordered the system without any burden. By the way, why have you been so quiet recently? The system was silent for more than 10 seconds. It was so angry that it almost vomited blood. That's because you blocked me. Chapter 680. Xiangni's expression didn't change. Oh, so that's how it is. System? I'm going to die from anger, I'm really going to die from anger. Although it had a high level of authority as a system, it still had to follow the most basic rules of logic. For example, if the host requested to be blocked or muted, then unless it was a special situation or the host actively called out to it, it could only be infuriated. After being speechless for a while, it said in an aggrieved tone, 10 fairy tales from different planes have been downloaded for you. Loading. Loading complete. Xiangyi was no stranger to receiving information. Soon, 10 fairy tales appeared in her mind out of thin air. She had to admit that the system was quite reliable. The fairy tales it found were more suitable for children, and there were no dark plots like eating children or turning into zombies. Thank you, thank you. Hearing the girl's gentle and polite voice, the little system couldn't help but roll around in the data stream. It had served many hosts before, but they were all especially Ling Yi, who would lie to it. In any case, compared to them, Xiangyi was like the clouds in the sky and the mud on the ground. The new host is so good, she even knows how to say thank you. The little system was delighted when it heard the girl say the cruelest words in the most gentle tone. Continue blocking mode, thank you. System, was this what the internet in this plane meant by happy only lasts 3 seconds? Why? Oh. Was it not professional enough? Was it not good enough? It was clearly many times better than that idiot Xiao Naofu. Could it be, it was not as cute as Xiao Naofu? No. The frequency of the data stream fluctuated violently, and it took a long time for it to calm down. After testing the system, Xiangyi had a rough idea of what was going on. What she knew was that the so-called missions issued by the system didn't force her to complete them, and it even took the initiative to go easy on her. Xiao Naofu used to be so close to her, but if she couldn't complete the mission, it would punish her due to the restrictions of the rules. However, after the punishment, Xiao Naofu would cry especially miserably. In addition, the system's tolerance towards her was definitely abnormal. It was as if it wasn't in a hurry for Xiangyi to complete the mission in this world. Shiryu's appearance interrupted Xiangyi's thoughts. Elder sister. The little boy's voice was clear, and the outline of his round black eyes was soft. However, the corners of his eyes were curved upwards. It could be seen that he was somewhat similar to Shui. When he grew up, he would probably also have affectionate peach blossom eyes. He changed into his blue and white checkered pajamas. Xiangyi felt that the cotton material looked familiar. You want to lie in bed and listen? Or do you want to sit there and listen, and sleep when you're tired? Xiangyi pointed in the direction of the French window. This guest room was facing a good direction. At this time, the sun was shining brightly. The pea-green curtains were pulled open, leaving a layer of lilac lace curtains, sprinkling light into the room. When the wind blew, the light seemed to jump. There was a row of tatami mats on the floor, as well as a soft couch and several pillows. Shiryu clenched his little fists and resisted the temptation. He said seriously, Sister, I'll just lie on the bed and listen. But Xiangyi smiled. I want to listen to a story by the window. Shiryu's eyes were obviously filled with joy, but he thought that he restrained it well. All right then, not making things difficult for a virtuous girl is the basic etiquette of a gentleman, he said with his baby fat face. Chapter 681. Xiangyi saw through the little boy's thoughts, but she did not expose him. She pulled Shiryu to sit down. Shiryu felt the softness of the sofa, and shock flashed through his young and round eyes. It turned out that there was such a comfortable thing in this world. He thought that this was enough happiness, but he did not expect that in the next second, Xiangyi would hand him a furry blanket and a rabbit doll. Here, for you. Under the sunlight, the exquisite girl was so white that it seemed to glow. Her skin was fair and clear. Then I'll start talking. Shiryu nodded stiffly and subconsciously hugged the little rabbit in his arms tightly. Soft. It seemed that everything in Sister Xiangyi's house was soft. Just like her. All of this was something that Shiryu had never dared to imagine. The sun was warm, and Sister Xiangyi's voice was gentle. Shiryu did not take long to feel sleepy. Even though he adhered to strict family teachings and paid attention to his sitting posture, he was still young. Not long after, the little one sank into the cloud-like softness. Prince Lemon found Princess Orange and told her that in this world, every fruit is different, but every fruit is worthy of love. Shiryu was sleepy, but he still stubbornly asked, Sister, what if no one likes it? Xiangyi was deep in thought. For example? For example. Princess Durian. Shiryu used the fruit he hated the most as an example. His long eyelashes drooped, casting a faint shadow. What if no one in the world likes Princess Durian? Xiangyu was silent for a while and patted his little head. Maybe the prince who likes durian is still far away. If you wait a little longer, he will appear. Shiryu's long eyelashes trembled. But, what if he can't wait? Sister, you can't guarantee that your answer is 100% correct, right? After asking, he regretted it a little. Shiryu had an ability to express and reason that exceeded his peers. In a sense, he could be called a genius. However, the people around him would always treat him like a child. Even if he could solve a problem that even adults could not solve, he would only receive an impatient sentence from his father. What's the use of solving this? Or, they would be treated like monkeys by others. Shiryu, come and perform a pie table. When he recited it, those people would often look surprised. Not bad, you're quite powerful. Then, he changed the topic, but he's still a child. Learning so much will spoil his brain. Who knows, I might accidentally become Shang Zhongyong's. You were smart when you were young, but now that you've grown up, you're just like everyone else. There were very few adults who could answer the questions he asked. Whenever they couldn't answer, they would come up with all sorts of excuses to brush him off. Children don't need to know these things. You'll know when you grow up. Go away, don't bother me. You can search for it on your phone and you'll know. Over time, Shiryu got used to it. He thought that if Sister Xiangyi couldn't answer his question, she would probably be put in a difficult position. She would also be worried about how to answer him perfunctorily. Unexpectedly, Xiangyi cupped her cheeks with her little hands and said in admiration, Shiryu, you're so amazing to think of such a problem. He was stunned for a moment. Then, he heard the girl say seriously, everyone can have their own opinions and opinions. That's just my answer. What about you, Shiryu? What's your answer? Can you tell me? Chapter 682. Huh? Shiryu was stunned. There was no rebuttal, no ridicule, and no perfunctory attitude. Instead, she treated him like an adult, respectful and equal. This was beyond Shiryu's understanding. After his mind went blank for a moment, Shiryu clenched his fists excitedly and expressed his opinion. I think that other than the possibility that Sister mentioned, there is also another possibility. Perhaps Princess Durian will never be able to wait for her prince in her lifetime, and she might be hated by others. But it doesn't matter. She also hates others, so, the little boy hesitated for a moment and did not dare to say his true thoughts. He was so smart and sharp, so he was afraid that Xiangyi would guess that the Durian princess was himself. So Princess Durian lived a happy life alone? Xiangyi added the end. Did I guess right? Shiryu looked up at her and then lowered his head to look at his toes. Yes, you're half right. Xiangyi was very distressed. Huh? Her confused tone satisfied Shiryu to a certain extent. He deeply felt that he was needed. Xiangyi's sister was an adult, but he could help her answer this question. The little boy subconsciously straightened his back and said seriously, because a person won't be happy. I see. I think what you said makes sense, Shiryu. But I want to refute. Just like you said, I can't prove that my answer is correct. Similarly, Shiryu, you're the same. Why can't a person be happy? Just like in this world, boys can be with girls, boys can be with boys, and girls can be with girls. However, even if you don't choose, I think it doesn't matter. People can choose to be with others, and of course, they can also choose not to be with others. As long as it's the lifestyle they like, it's fine. Even if Shiryu was a genius, the amount of information in Xiangyi's words was still too much for him. Xiangyi's point of view was something he had never imagined. Let me tell you a secret. Sister likes her family very much, her grandparents, her uncles, her brothers, and her boyfriend. But occasionally, she would want to be alone. I like to cook. I'm happy to cook for my family, but I'm also happy to cook for myself. It doesn't matter if Princess Durian can't wait for the prince. She can still be a happy the little princess. Yu's dark eyes slowly brightened, outside the door. Shui came over with desserts and warm milk. The live stream was still going on, but it could not be filmed in the guest room. Someone commented, "Looks like Shurindi is cold on the outside but warm on the inside." Although he's not affectionate with his little nephew, his body is very honest. Soon, a large number of comments appeared on the screen. "Young man, you're too naive. I bet all of Wei Long's dignity that it's all for Sister E. I think Shurindi is jealous, ha ha ha." The thought of his girlfriend being in the same room with another male creature, even if it's a child, must make him feel uncomfortable. Hearing the conversation between Xiangyi and Yu, Shui's first reaction was to turn off the microphone. Then, he knocked twice on the door. Xiangyi came over to open the door with a little Shota following behind her. Seeing how clingy the little guy was, Shui narrowed her eyes. Yu shrank his neck, instinctively sensing danger. Chapter 683. Fortunately, Uncle Shui didn't seem to be crazy enough to beat up a child. He handed the tray to Xiangyi and said indifferently, "I'm afraid you two will be hungry." Yu heaved a sigh of relief. Xiangyi took it. "Thank you, boyfriend. I'll continue telling Yu stories." Hearing this, Yu grabbed Xiangyi's clothes out of a childish desire to show off. He mustered up his courage and said, "Big sister's stories are very nice." It wasn't just stories. Her speech was also very nice. Yu was overjoyed. In just a short while, he wished that he could stay here forever. Shui stared at him for a few seconds, then lowered his long eyelashes and said in a slightly hoarse voice, "No one has ever told me a story since I was young." Xiangyi was stunned. Not far away, Xiao Naofu, who was swaying on a hammock in the cat villa, couldn't help but roll its eyes when it heard Shui's words. How could there be such a shameless dog man like Shui in this world? Although the audience in the live stream couldn't hear anything, Shui was worthy of being called the best actor. Just the action of lowering his head was enough to make people's imaginations run wild. Judging from Xiao Naofu's expression, Shurindi must be an old green tea. Shui's acting is superb. Just the action of lowering his eyes and opening his mouth makes me feel so pitiful. I want to hug him. My focus is different from yours. Yu is still so young, but his facial features are already so good-looking. I have a bold idea. Yu, big sister can wait for you to grow up. Dog head, Xiangyi thought for a while, then asked tentatively, "Then I'll tell both of you at the same time?" Yu's expression was slightly resistant. Shui, however, curled his lips. Okay, thus, a certain best actor swaggered into the room, forming a sharp contrast with Shui's dark expression. Xiao Naofu, meow meow meow. You. This dog man's tea skills are superb. After the three of them entered the guest room, the screen of the live stream went dark for a few seconds before changing to the courtyard. The audience was extremely anxious. Who wanted to watch these people eat and drink? Wouldn't that be too lonely? Everyone protested under the official Weibo account. Li Jianyu had a headache when he saw those comments. He was hesitating whether he should call Xiangyi and Shui out when the door opened. Xiangyi went to the living room and rummaged through the cabinets. He asked curiously, "Sister E, what are you looking for? Do you need help?" Xiangyi, yellow paper, cinnabar. Li Jianyu was dumbfounded. What the hell? Something for drawing talismans. The girl's answer shocked Li Jianyu. Sister E. Calm down. We can't engage in superstitious activities. Otherwise, the live stream room might be warned or banned. Sure, you can't sleep. It might be because of psychological reasons. I'll draw a talisman to coax him. Xiangyi looked calm. We have to believe in science. From a medical point of view, this is similar to placebo. Is that so? Li Jianyu was confused, but seeing how calm Xiangyi was, he didn't suspect anything. The girl took out her talisman drawing tools and spread the yellow paper on the table. She casually dipped it in cinnabar, and her movements were smooth and fluid. In just a moment, a talisman was drawn. The live stream audience was dumbfounded. It seems quite like that. However, there were also people who questioned, is it that casual? Drawing talismans is a very serious matter. One needs to bathe, change clothes, burn incense, and wash the brush. Xiangyi's drawing is simply child's play. Chapter 684. There are congenital and postnatal talismans. To put it simply, congenital talismans can only be drawn by geniuses. As the saying goes, a little bit of inspiration is a talisman. The ritual rules for postnatal talismans are complicated, and ordinary people draw postnatal talismans. However, Xiangyi drew postnatal talismans. You can choose not to believe it, but you can't be disrespectful, right? However, Xiangyi didn't have that many scruples. What she drew was a heart-calming talisman that she had learned in a certain immortal cultivation world, which had the effect of calming the mind. However, she was in her own world and didn't have the so-called dermic powers. There was also no spiritual energy in this world, so she felt that this talisman wouldn't have any substantial effect. It was just to coax children. Little did she know that the video of her drawing talismans was coincidentally seen by a certain talisman enthusiast. Professor Zhu had done a lot of research on traditional Chinese culture, especially the classics of mountains and seas, myths, and other aspects. His main job was as a history professor at Nanjing University, and his daily life was very healthy. Apart from teaching classes and guiding graduate students, he would refine herbal pills, take care of the flowers on the balcony, and various vegetables in the backyard. Ever since he had an exchange with a few Taoist priests at an academic event, he had developed a strong interest in talismans. Apart from analyzing the culture, history, and origins behind them, he would occasionally draw a few talismans for fun. After some scientific research, he discovered that it was indeed difficult to draw talismans. Apart from the superstitious factors, the drawing of talismans was complicated, just like traditional Chinese characters. It was already very difficult to remember. Secondly, the talisman maker was required to draw it in one go without any interruptions. These two conditions had stumped a lot of people. Today, he came to attend a study report by a few graduate students. Before it was time, someone had already started watching the video. Professor Zhu wasn't like some old-fashioned teachers who were resistant to popular things. On the contrary, he was quite fashionable and trendy. He felt that as long as the students completed their study tasks, it was fine for them to play games and watch short videos. It was fine as long as it was moderate. Hence, not only did he not reprimand the students, he even held his thermos and watched the video with relish. The video of Xiangyi drawing talismans happened to be playing on his cell phone. At first, Professor Zhu thought that the girl was just fooling around and casually drawing a few strokes, but the moment Xiangyi really started drawing, Professor Zhu subconsciously held his breath. The girl's movements were calm and languid, as if she was drawing a freehand painting of mountains and rivers. A moment later, a talisman was formed in her hand. The student muttered, "What the hell is this? Why does it look like scribbles?" Professor Zhu suddenly slapped his thigh. "Good." The student was shocked and trembled in fear. "Teacher. I don't want to read anymore. I'll start reading now." However, he heard Professor Zhu's praises. "My brush strokes are divine, and I'm done on the first try. The painting technique is not restricted by form, so outstanding. A little spiritual light is a talisman. The people of the world have wasted ink and vermilion. This young lady is a talisman master." Student. "Where? Teacher, are you also spicy tutu? Why is it that when it comes to bootlicking, he's even better than me?" On the other side, at a Taoist temple in South City, a young Taoist also saw the video of Xiangyi drawing talismans. He rubbed his eyes and confirmed it again. Then, he ran away and shouted, "Master, master! Someone drew the same talisman as martial ancestor. What nonsense are you spouting?" The immortal-like Taoist stroked his beard. When he saw the talisman in the video clearly, his pupils instantly trembled, It's actually a heart-cleansing talisman. Chapter 685. What nonsense are you talking about? The sage-like Taoist priest stroked his beard. When he saw the talisman in the video clearly, his pupils instantly trembled. It was actually a mind-cleansing talisman. The mind-cleansing talisman had long been lost, and their Taoist temple was fortunate enough to leave behind a legacy. Unfortunately, because this talisman was too difficult, it had been lost in the generation of the Grandmaster. The reason why his little disciple could recognize it was because the Grandmaster had left behind a few talismans when he was alive. Unfortunately, although he had the talisman, the drawing technique had been lost. He had painstakingly studied it for many years, but he had only scratched the surface. How could such a young girl draw such a profound and obscure talisman? Master, why can this sister draw it, but you can't? The little Taoist priest shook his head and asked. He saw that this sister's drawing wasn't that difficult. The Taoist priest was speechless. Nonsense. Of course it's because I'm a noob. However, how could he say that in front of his little disciple? He carried his long sword on his back and flicked his horsetail whisk like a master in a xianxia novel. Disciple, stay in the temple. I'm going to go down the mountain and visit this little friend Xiangyi. The little disciple was confused. Master, you're not even familiar with her, and you're already calling her a friend? The little disciple hesitated. Well, Master, hey. Say no more. I've already made up my mind. No matter how you persuade me, I won't change my mind. You want to go with me? That won't do. I don't know when I'll be back. What if you encounter any danger and I can't protect you? The little disciple's mouth twitched. Master, what I want to say is that your sword has been sharpened. It won't pass the high-speed railway security check. In the Manor's guest room. In response to the strong requests of the live stream viewers and Shiyu's approval, Li Jianyu brought old Zhang into the guest room to film. Shiyu was so sleepy that his head was bobbing up and down, but he was still sitting cross-legged. Shi Sui, who was sitting opposite him, was slowly pouring a cup of hot tea for Xiangyi. Seeing Xiangyi come in, Shiyu forced himself to stay awake. Because of his sleepiness, the little boy's voice became soft. Sister, Xiangyi took out the talisman from behind and said with a smile, Here, this is the lucky spell that Prince Lemon gave to Princess Durian. It has been enchanted by the witch. If you put it under your pillow to sleep, you will sleep soundly. Sure, you already had the concept of Santa Claus is fake and fairy tales are all lies. He blinked twice. He clearly knew that Xiangyi was coaxing him. But he liked it so much. The little boy carefully placed the talisman paper under the pillow as if it was a precious treasure. Xiangyi tucked him in. Good afternoon. Shiyu stole a glance at Shi Sui and said boldly, Good afternoon, sister. Suddenly, a large number of viewers in the live stream were shouting that they wanted to steal the cute baby. Shiyu had never slept well, but for some reason, not only did he fall asleep very quickly today, he even had a particularly beautiful dream. After the little boy fell asleep, Xiangyi pulled Shi Sui away. After carefully closing the door, Xiangyi sighed. Shiyu is so obedient. He must be very easy to take care of. Shi Sui replied with an ambiguous and casually picked up a lock of Xiangyi's hair to play with. Am I not obedient? His deep voice was tinged with a hint of pity. The man's expression was as usual, but his eyes were wet. He was simply weak, helpless, and wronged. Xiangyi! Exclamation point. Other children have lucky charms. The fresh fragrance of tea filled the living room. Unlike me, I don't have anything. Chapter 686. Hearing this, Xiao Naofu, I'm about to vomit. Li Jianyu, I can't watch this, I really can't watch this. The netizens watching the live stream, wow, I'm so impressed. Shirindi, aren't you going to consider starting a tea ceremony class? I'll be the first to sign up. What Longjing before the rain, Mao Jian before the light, Dongting and Biluakun before the rain. Everything pales in comparison to Shirindi, tasteless and dull. Xiangyi panicked and hurriedly comforted him. No, no, of course our Shui will have it too. Shui whispered in a self-deprecating tone, Sister E, you don't have to say any more, I understand. How can a person like me deserve to have a witch's magic? Who said you don't deserve it? Xiangyi grabbed his hand and said righteously, I'll draw it for you right now. Hence, under the gaze of tens of thousands of viewers, the girl drew one talisman after another. The girl didn't seem to be tired at all. She only stopped when she had drawn a thick stack of talismans and stuffed them into Shui's hands. Is this enough? If not, there's more. Shui grabbed her wrist. The girl had a small frame and slender wrist bones, so he gently squeezed her wrist twice. Are these all for me? Xiangyi nodded vigorously. If there really is a lucky spell in this world, I want to give all my luck to you. Shui's eyes darkened. How should he describe his feelings at that moment? It was like the moment a cold peach soda was unscrewed on a summer day. All the bubbles surged up in an instant. Just give me a little bit. Shui chuckled softly, the corners of his eyes forming a happy arc. Our sister E should be the lucky one forever. In the live stream, the viewers had already gotten used to the public display of affection. Ah, what kind of love is this? Every single dog is stuffed to death, but no couple is innocent, KDL KDL. Today is another day where I'm going to knock myself out and roll around in bed. Professor Zhu invited his friend to help host the report while he himself watched the live stream of Two Under One Roof intently. The student was in a daze. Hashtag what if my teacher is more addicted to the internet than me? Hashtag when Xiangyi drew talismans for Shui, Professor Zhu was amazed. In the eyes of ordinary people, Xiangyi was just blindly drawing. But in his eyes, every stroke of Xiangyi's was exquisite beyond compare. It contained ancient history, traditional culture, and the inheritance of faith. How was this drawing talismans? This was simply art. Daoist Ren was forced to change his peachwood sword and take the high-speed train to Nanchang. His eyes were fixed on the phone, and the passers-by beside him shook their heads. This was truly the era of entertainment to death. Even Taoist priests were following variety shows. Little did they know that Daoist Ren was so shocked that he was speechless. Heart-cleansing talisman. Safety talisman. House-guarding talisman. Most of them were talismans that he had never seen or heard of in his life. Not only did the variety of talismans make him dumbfounded, but what was even more surprising was that Xiangyi drew one talisman after another without taking a break in between. Drawing talismans was very taxing on the mind, and he had to rest after drawing one talisman. His master could draw up to 3 talismans at most, and it would be difficult for him to continue after that. But this little friend Xiangyi, how is this a painting? It was more like a photocopier. Daoist Ren was trembling as he forwarded the video to his peer group. Fellow Taoists, if you don't watch this video, you won't be Chinese. Some people in the group saw this and sneered. What kind of ridiculous rumors did old Ren forward to the group? Chapter 687. It was nothing more than something along the lines of, how did an old woman in her 60s achieve enlightenment, or, good writing, repost it to your friends to keep your house safe. When they clicked on the video, they saw a fair-skinned and calm girl drawing talismans with a cinnabar brush. It was nothing more than. Wait a minute. It was done in one go? If that was all, it wouldn't be a big deal, but every subsequent one was the same. Moreover, the variety of talismans and their difficulty was beyond the imagination of these Taoist masters. When the last second of the video ended, the screen went black again. Several blank faces were reflected on the screen. Who exactly was this little friend? The group that had been silent for a long time suddenly became lively. Taoist Master Min from Biyao Temple, what's this little friend's name? Where does she live? Does anyone know? Taoist Master Su from Yuchuan Temple, Taoist Master Ren from Qingshui Temple, long time no see, I miss you. Taoist Master Yu from Yongla Temple, Taoist Master Ren from Qingshui Temple, you and I have known each other for many years. Even if we're not brothers, we're closer than brothers. Can you reveal some information about this little friend? For a moment. Everyone rushed to tag Taoist Master Ren. Taoist Master Ren, who had always been hated by everyone in the group, suddenly became the most popular person in the group. In the living room, Li Jianyu was too curious and directly entered the camera. He squatted between Xiangyi and Shi Sui and asked, Sister E, is this talisman really useful? Is there a fortune talisman? It can make me rich in minutes. Or buy a lottery talisman for sure. Xiangyi. No. Li Jianyu didn't give up and squeezed closer to her. With a flattering smile, he said, Sister E, we're all on the same side. It's okay to be a little bit metaphysical. Shi Sui's expression didn't change. She grabbed his collar with one hand and pulled him towards her. Even his clothes couldn't touch Xiangyi. It was full of possessiveness. Li Jianyu put his index finger and thumb together and rubbed it a few times. This action looked inexplicably wretched. In the stream, son, you're so ugly that I'm your father. Sure enough, there's no harm without comparison. Son, your face is so much bigger than Sister Yi's Shuringdi. Sister E, look at me. I'm not greedy. Arrange it with the peach blossom talisman. As long as you can recruit a few guys with 8-pack abs. Xiangyi said sternly, you shouldn't have such a mindset. Wake up. There is no such thing as metaphysics in this world. The world is unified by matter. Matter is in motion, and there is a law to its motion. Laws can be recognized, and recognition can develop and change. Li Jianyu? The audience in the streaming room? The reporters, who were about to say their goodbyes, were dumbfounded when they heard Xiangyi's serious words. So Sister E, was this materialistic? So, do you understand? Li Jianyu suddenly felt ashamed. Understand what? Xiangyi said bitterly, what should we believe? Believe in science. Li Jianyu was instantly enlightened and exclaimed, okay, Xiangyi, I'm enlightened. The audience was dying of laughter. What King enlightenment? What the hell are you trying to comprehend? The next second, a certain black-bellied actor calmly said, Li Jianyu, there seems to be a dark shadow behind you. Li Jianyu, who was easily frightened, screamed crazily. Chapter 688. Xiangyi, Shi Sui, live stream viewers. Shuringdi is so mean, ha 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 ha, I can understand the first part, but what the hell is with Xiao Moxian's transformation? What do you guys know? Our son is giving us a vivid performance of the pragmatism of the Chinese. We'll believe in whatever spirit it is. TSK, this is the same as putting Confucius, Newton, and Einstein on the table before an exam. Li Jianyu's expression was like a frightened chicken, providing fresh material for the emoji community and the ghost section. Xiangyi held back her laughter. No, he's lying to you. Turn around if you don't believe me. No. Li Jianyu would rather die than give in. What if I get sent away when I turn around? Just a moment ago, he had been afraid that Xiangyi would engage in futile activities, but now he was frantically begging Xiangyi. Sister E, please give me a talisman. Boo-hoo, don't TV dramas show people burn talismans and dissolve the ashes in water? Drinking it can ward off evil spirits, right? Then our live stream will really be gone. Xiangyi joked. In order to comfort him, she drew a safety talisman and folded it into a small triangle. Here, put it in your pocket. Li Jianyu thanked her profusely and hurriedly stuffed it into his pocket. The viewers expressed that if it weren't for the live stream, they suspected that he would have stuffed it into his sock. Ahem. A refined reporter stepped forward and said goodbye to Xiangyi on behalf of the crowd. Thank you, Sister E, for your hospitality. We've already tidied up the yard, so we won't disturb you any further. Wait. Xiangyi got up. I've prepared some specialties from Little Rabbit Farm for you guys. Everyone was polite. How can we accept this? You're even taking food and drinks. What kind of people are we? Yeah, Sister E, we can buy it from your online store if we want to eat it. Li Jianyu was shocked. Can you guys get it? I've been single for many years, but I still can't get it. The reporters. They felt as if they had been stabbed in the heart. Get it, my ass. At most, he could only go to the seafood market to increase the price by a few times. A smile appeared in Xiangyi's eyes. It just so happens that a new product has been released recently. You can take it back and try it. The little girl was meticulous and had already arranged for people to prepare the local specialties. Everyone was given a basket. Inside were Little Rabbit Farm's signature products, such as spicy rabbit head, spicy beef, milk strawberries, and so on. There were also vacuum-packed pickled radishes, pickled cabbage, and 3 packets of a new product, instant rice noodles. The packaging was as cute as ever. A soft bunny was holding a bowl and eating rice noodles in big mouthfuls. The audience in the live stream room. Ah, another new product? Time to test your hand speed. Heh, new products are coming out pretty quickly. If you're so capable, you can buy as many as you want. I dare to buy women, but do you dare to sell them? Xiang Yi is really the biggest obstacle in my pursuit of stardom. Mama doesn't even know how to spend money for you. Hurry up and accept endorsements. Hurry up and shoot the new products in the magazines. Mommy wants to spend money on you. The reporters were flattered and thanked him profusely. When they reached the door, someone exclaimed in surprise, "Wow, I have a small jar of barbecue sauce inside." Sister E, did you hear me say that the barbecue sauce is delicious? Wow, I have one too. I mentioned that I wanted to drink big sauce soup and there's actually a jar of big sauce inside. Sob sob, mine is fruit. Sister E is so considerate. Everyone shared their joy. The feeling of being cared for was really wonderful. Chapter 689. Xiangyi and Shui did not have the habit of taking afternoon naps. As usual, they sat by the floor-to-ceiling windows, one reading a script while the other flipped through medical books. Occasionally, they would whisper a few words to each other. Unlike other fast-paced variety shows, Two Under One Roof was a slow and leisurely routine most of the time. However, it was very comfortable. Their lifestyle was also imitated by many people. Many people would often turn on the live stream and turn down the volume before doing their homework or reading. Not only did they calm down, but they also improved themselves. Around 2:00. Shiryu woke up. He hadn't slept so well in a long time. He stretched his back and suddenly thought of something, after which he scurried out of the room barefooted. Shui was the only one in the living room. The little boy froze in place and hesitated for a few seconds before asking timidly, "Uncle, where's Sister Xiangyi?" Shui glanced at him and said calmly, "She went to get changed. Do you want some water?" Shiryu shook his head and grabbed the corner of his pajamas helplessly. Fortunately, little Shiji came over and nudged his calf. Shiryu's tense body finally relaxed a little. He squatted down and looked at little Shiji for a few seconds before asking carefully, "Can I touch you?" Woof. The little boy's black eyes lit up and he wiped his little hands on his clothes before gently touching little Shiji's head. It was furry and a little warm. Xiao Naofu widened its icy blue eyes. This stupid cub actually touched that silly dog instead of me? Although I like being touched too. I'm the most popular one in this family. Hence, Xiao Naofu pushed little Shiji away and spoke to Shiryu in a soft and coquettish voice. "Meow meow, no human can resist a cat. Not even a human cub." Shiryu held his breath, amazed by how adorable Xiao Naofu was. Seeing that he didn't react for a long time, Xiao Naofu tilted its head and grabbed Shiryu's sleeve with its little paw. "Meow? Is this Huhu not charming enough? How could this detestable cub be indifferent to this Huhu's body?" This scene of jealousy was a critical hit to the cute pet and treasure lovers in front of the screen. Today, I'm going to steal little Shiji and Xiao Naofu again. Is there any weapon more lethal than the combination of cute pets and cute babies? No. There's the Tea Saint before, and now there's the Tea King. I wonder if the tea saint or the tea king's acting skills are better. I recommend that both of them be admitted to the national team as an exception. If I say that Shuringdi and Xiao Naofu are tea artists, does anyone refute that? Shuryu finally couldn't help but reach out his little hand and gently poked Xiao Naofu's head. Schwa, once they touched, they separated. However, that feeling seemed to be even better than touching little Shiji. Xiao Naofu, sure enough, there's no man this Huhu can't seduce. The kitten lightly jumped into Shiryu's arms and took the initiative to rub against his chest as if it was acting coquettishly. Shiryu was speechless. It rubbed against me. The cat rubbed against me. It smells so nice, so soft, and so cute. Shiryu looked around and saw that Shui was still staring at the script in his hand. The little cub's black grape-like eyes were bright and clear. He hugged Xiao Naofu with both hands and said in a mature tone, May I kiss you? Without waiting for Xiao Naofu to answer, he smacked his lips and kissed Xiao Naofu's forehead. Shiryu's ears immediately turned red. Xiao Naofu was dumbfounded. *CK, you guys with the surname Shur are indeed dogs from the same lineage. Chapter 690. No, this cub was even worse than that old man, Shui. He was asking for permission with his mouth, and then he kissed him directly. This was equivalent to shaking hands in a martial arts competition and then breaking the other party's hand. It was simply unethical. Especially after the kiss, he was so embarrassed that he could not raise his head. Those who did not know would think that this Huhu did something to him. Shiryu was really embarrassed. He never thought that he would actually do such a thing like kissing a kitten. This went against the gentleman education he had received since he was young. Sob sob. Sob sob sob, just as the little boy wanted to dig a hole and bury himself in it, Xiangyi came out after changing her clothes. The young girl had changed into a light blue and white sportswear. At first glance, it looked a bit like a high school sportswear, but she looked like the school bell in it. Shiryu, why is your face so red? Do you have a fever? Xiangyi's tone was worried. She wanted to check the temperature of his forehead, but Shiryu avoided her. I'm fine. The little boy was embarrassed. He was afraid that Xiangyi would find out that he had secretly kissed the kitten. He stuttered a little. Sister, are you going out? Xiangyi, yes, I'm going to climb the mountain with your uncle. We'll also dig some wild vegetables and pick some wild fruits or something. Shiryu's eyes lit up. Other than the kindergarten, his range of activities was at home. His parents were too busy and rarely took him out to play. Xiangyi suddenly realized something. Then you should call me auntie. Otherwise, wouldn't the three of us mess up the seniority? The man's deep voice came from behind. Call me auntie. Xiangyi's ears were a little hot. Don't talk nonsense. However, under his uncle's kind gaze, Shiryu shrank his neck and called out obediently. Auntie Xiangyi. Now, there was one more person who was embarrassed. Shui's thin lips curled up. This little boy was obviously more pleasing to the eye. He ruffled his hair. If you want to go and change your clothes. Shiryu could not wait. I'll go now. Shiryu changed his clothes as fast as he could and took the initiative to put a thermos cup, toilet paper, chocolate, and other items into his small school bag. It could be said that he saved the adults a lot of trouble. Xiangyi asked if she wanted to help him carry the backpack, but the little boy shook his head decisively. Auntie, I can do it myself. If you need it, I can carry it for you. The audience in the live stream was wailing. Sure enough, other people's children were different. Oh my God, how did you teach your child to be like this? Shiryu's ability to take care of himself is too strong. He doesn't look like a young master from a wealthy family at all. Why is Shiryu such a gentleman? Not only does my brother not help me carry my bag, but he always makes me carry his bag for him. If you don't take it, you're rolling on the ground and crying. Xiao Naofu also insisted on going, so Xiangyi decided to bring it along with little Shiji. Someone commented in the live stream, wow, this is like a family of 3 bringing a cat and a dog for an outing, someone immediately retorted. Bullsh *T. They're clearly 2 dogs. You there? Sure you doesn't deserve a name? Huh, what a joke. Is little Shiji our sure sway dog? When the audience saw these comments, they were about to die of laughter. When they clicked on the personal homepages of the accounts that were defaming Sure Sway, the netizens made an even more shocking discovery. Many of these people were actually Sure Sway's sister. A term rose on the hot search list, #fandom's confusing behavior reward #. Chapter 691. The entry originated from a Joker blogger. She summed up the confusing behavior of fans in the entertainment circle in recent days. For example, a certain popular starlet sneaked into her fan group and was kicked out. A certain new rapper and anti-fans had hundreds of posts. The most hilarious ones were the actions of Spicy Tutu and Sure Sway sisters. Raising money for investment? Illegal fundraising? Reporting? Receiving help? Sao Roy, you haven't announced anything yet. So what if you're anti-fans? As fans, we're even more anti-fans. Among them, Spicy Tutu reported the female Durban and won a little red flower from the internet police. She and Sure Sway sisters claimed that Sure Sway was a gigolo, and some even expressed that they hoped that Xiangyi would take care of them too. As soon as this Weibo post was posted, it received more than 1,000 comments. I've laughed my head off so many times. Spicy Tutu is so cute. Not only is she Buddhist, she's also so silly. Sure Sway sisters didn't used to be like this. Why do I feel like she's been assimilated by Spicy Tutu? Of course, the Sure Sway sisters would never admit that they were as silly as Spicy Tutu. Don't remind me, we're very aloof, okay? As for Xiangyi, I guess I'll just make do with her. Humph. At the manor. After packing up, Xiangyi and the others were ready to set off with the production crew. As soon as they walked out of the door, they heard a loud and hurried shout. Xiangyi, hold on. Oh. Is he looking for Sister E? Everyone turned to look at him and was stunned. The person was wearing an old blue Daoist robe with his long hair tied up in a crown. He carried a peachwood sword on his back and held a white horsetail whisk in his hand. He looked like an immortal. Of course, that was if one ignored the fact that he was carrying a big iron pot. The netizens watching the live stream were confused. This scene seems familiar. It reminds me of Sanmao Bro, Hades. Huh, so what if you're carrying a big bowl? Look at how big his pot is. Xiangyi was also very confused, but she still nodded politely. Hello, may I know what you're looking for me for? Daoist Ren was excited. Little friend Xiangyi, I'm here to ask for your guidance. Xiangyi. Everyone? Viewers in the live stream room? As the saying goes, fellow disciples are friends. Little friend Xiangyi, although we've only met by chance today, in my heart, I've already treated you as an old friend of mine for many years. When it came to being thick-skinned, Daoist Ren was invincible. In the live stream, this person is a scammer? Could it be an actor hired by the production team? I just like small plots without a script. If there was a script, I wouldn't want to read it. That's right, that's right. Aren't we just watching this for fun? Look at the beauty, look at the food, and look at the beautiful scenery. Li Jianyu, son, don't forget your original intention. In the next second, Daoist Ren cupped his hands towards Xiangyi. There's no precedence when it comes to learning. I'm here today for no other reason than to ask little friend Xiangyi to give me some pointers on the art of talismans. Everyone? What the hell? Talismans? Was he referring to the messy things that Xiangyi had drawn? Xiangyi, you're being too serious. How could I give you pointers? I'm just drawing casually. At this moment, a few more cars drove over in the distance. Professor Zhu got out of the car first, then helped an old man with white hair, followed by a few young people who looked like students. Miss Xiangyi, please forgive me for taking the liberty of disturbing you. Professor Zhu suppressed his surging emotions. On behalf of the Nanxing Historical and Cultural Research Institute, we'd like to ask for your guidance. Chapter 692. Professor Zhu, nice to meet you. Li Jianyu stepped forward to receive him. Didn't you say that you would be coming tomorrow? The research institute had indeed contacted the production team, but the appointed time was tomorrow. The production team felt that this was not only a good thing for Xiangyi, but also a good way to educate the public about history and culture. Hence, they readily agreed. Professor Zhu said in surprise, "Well, I'm the one who can't wait to meet Miss Xiang." The gray-haired old professor next to him spoke up. The old man was old and his back was a little hunched, but his eyes were full of wisdom. "Please forgive me if I've disturbed you in any way. Teacher Ji." Although her memory was a little fuzzy, Xiangyi still recognized him. "When I was in university, I had the honor of attending one of your lectures. In the live stream, if you don't understand, just ask. Are these two people very powerful?" "Of course. History is the ace major of Nanjing University, and Professor Zhu is the ace professor of the history department. The old man next to him is his PhD advisor, Mr. Ji, who is currently a leading figure in the academic world." Everyone was even more surprised after learning the identities of the two. Such a powerful figure actually asked for Xiangyi's advice? Oh my god. Just how impressive is Sister E? Due to the sudden visit of Daoist Ren, Mr. Ji, and Professor Zhu, the matter of going up the mountain had to be put on hold for the time being. Everyone returned to the living room where Xiangyi personally brewed some tea and sat down obediently on the sofa. Shi Sui sat next to her, and the two of them looked like super straight-A students who were waiting for the teacher to ask them questions. They were calm and composed. Mr. Ji and Professor Zhu were excellent at maintaining their composure. The two of them slowly tasted Xiangyi's tea and their eyes lit up. "Good tea." Daoist Ren couldn't help but ask, "Xiangyi, where did you learn talismans from?" Xiangyi naturally couldn't disclose the fact that she had transmigrated, so she casually said, "I don't have a master, I'm just doing my own research for fun." Daoist Ren didn't continue on this topic, thinking that Xiangyi must have had her own opportunities. He immediately praised, "You're really a genius. A genius. Genius." In the cultivation plane, Xiangyi had seen too many amazing talisman crafting geniuses. She had always thought that her standard was very average. Now, she was embarrassed by the compliments. "You flatter me." No, these are all words from the bottom of my heart. I've studied talismans for several decades, and I've only scratched the surface. Little friend Xiangyi is so young, but she has such accomplishments. If she was in the ancient times, she would definitely be someone who would establish a sect and become an immortal. The bullet screen was filled with laughter. The Taoist priest is too good with words. It is recommended to publish the book on the spot. There were also people who retorted, "Attain the Tao? Aren't you praising him too much? That's too much of an exaggeration. It's obviously self-directed. No, you can become an immortal just by scribbling a few scribbles. This person must have read too many Xianxia novels." At this moment, Professor Zhu said, "Have you heard of the Wuxia civilization?" Shi Sui said, "Are you referring to the ancient Wuxia kingdom?" "I don't know much about history, and I only know some general knowledge. There are no records of the ancient Wuxia kingdom in history books, but there is currently a school of thought in the academic world that believes that the ancient Wuxia kingdom really existed." "That's right." Mr. Ji's voice was loud like a bell. At the mention of academics, his entire aura seemed to have changed. "There is currently a lack of evidence to prove the existence of the ancient Wuxia kingdom, but I think that Miss Xiang's talismans can give us a glimpse of the prosperous civilization of that time." Chapter 693. His words caused everyone to fall silent for a few seconds. Even the comments in the live stream began to dwindle, followed by a large row of question marks. What the F***CK? Ah, history buffs are here. Can this really prove the existence of the Wuxia civilization? If that's the case, it'll be a great revolution for history, no, the entire humanities. In the living room, Professor Zhu added, "At present, we generally believe that the most prominent characteristics of the Wuxia civilization are closely related to witchcraft, divination, and sacrifice. According to the records of various eras, talismans, as a cultural symbol, have also changed over time. All of this is traceable, but this clue is missing the most crucial link. Miss Xiang's talismans can help us complete this closed loop. Xiangyi was stunned. Something seemed to have flashed through her mind, but it disappeared too quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared without a trace. Professor Zhu, I'm very honored to be able to contribute a little to your research. What can I do to help? Can you provide us with some talismans? As well as a video of you drawing talismans. Of course, in addition to a certificate of honor, we're willing to provide a certain amount of monetary subsidies. Xiangyi said, forget about the subsidies, can you give me a certificate or a little red flower? Haha. Both Professor Zhu and Mr. Ji laughed and looked at Xiangyi with more admiration in their eyes. Look, what a good child. Not only is she diligent and motivated, but she also values money. Xiangyi took out the talisman paper and cinnabar, and tried her best to draw all the types of talismans in her mind. Thus, everyone watched helplessly as the little girl continuously drew over 100 talismans with her own strength without stopping even once. The students brought by Professor Zhu were recording a video at the side. While recording, they were amazed by Xiangyi's memory. The drawing method of each talisman was very complicated, and mistakes could be made with the slightest carelessness. However, Xiangyi did it smoothly from beginning to end without making a single mistake. That was enough to show how powerful her memory was. After drawing hundreds of talismans, Xiangyi's hands were still very steady, which meant that her concentration had reached a terrifying level. If such a person were to engage in scientific research, her achievements would definitely be immeasurable. The students looked at each other in dismay. All of them had long faces. Alas, what kind of rookies are we? Time passed. Swish, after finishing the last stroke, the girl exhaled softly. She drew all the types of talismans she could think of. She should be able to help Professor Zhu and the others a little, right? I'm done. Xiangyi turned around and asked the students, have you recorded everything clearly? Is there anything that needs to be recorded? The few of them were stunned at first, then they reacted. It's done, it's done. Very clear. We even took pictures from different angles. Before they came, they were still a little prejudiced against Xiangyi. After all, it was easy for a female celebrity to give people the impression that she relied on her looks to make a living. But Xiangyi's talent and character had conquered them. Gentleness could be seen in the details. If he was lucky enough to be friends with her, it would definitely be very comfortable getting along with her. Professor Zhu and the others thanked him profusely as if they had received a treasure. They were in a hurry to go back and do their research, so they proposed to leave first. Before leaving, Mr. Ji broke free from Professor Zhu's support, faced Xiangyi, and with much difficulty, he bowed. Miss Xiang, thank you for your selfless dedication. I'm proud of the country for having a young person like you. Chapter 694. He pulled out his peachwood sword, stuck a talisman on it, and threw the sword into the air. The live stream viewers. Oh my God, can he really fly on a sword? In the next second, the peachwood sword hit Daoist Ren's head and he let out a shrill scream. Ouch, it hurts. Everyone, Li Jianyu said cheekily, don't imitate that dangerous move. Thank you, Daoist Ren, for your performance. He sacrificed himself to entertain us. His spirit is so commendable. The live stream viewers, talking nonsense with a straight face, ha 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 ha, Daoist Ren is my laughing point today, Daoist Ren, this sword is immoral. It sneaked an attack on a middle-aged man like me. I advise this sword to take care of itself. Everyone laughed heartily, and the nervousness from before vanished like smoke in thin air. That's right. Flying on a sword and flying on a sword are all movies. How could they exist in real life? Xiangyi tried hard to hold back her laughter. Daoist Ren, we're preparing to go up the mountain. Would you like to rest here for a while? Daoist Ren had yet to recover from the blow. He muttered to himself several times, this is impossible, but when he heard Xiangyi's words, he forced himself to cheer up. His gaze swept across Xiangyi, Shui, and Yu. Daoist Ren frowned. It's not safe on the mountain. You're a delicate girl with two powerless men. What if you encounter a wild beast? Xiangyi, I'll go with you. Shui? Yu? The expressions of the Shi uncle and niece seemed to be carved out of the same mold. There was a hint of coldness in their expressionless faces. However, the live stream viewers laughed out loud. Daoist Ren, have you seen a delicate girl who can kill a 200-pound pig? Light up a cigarette, ha ha ha, Shui is being treated as a gigolo again. Yu, it's fine if you say I'm powerless, but you're going overboard by saying that my uncle is. In short, Daoist Ren insisted on going together. Xiangyi and the others felt that it was fine and set off together. The audience was used to the usual live broadcast in the manor, so it was very refreshing to go out occasionally. Soon, the group arrived at the foot of the mountain. The nearby mountain was continuous, and the main peak was quite high above sea level. Today, Xiangyi and the others were going to climb a lower peak. Although the altitude was low, it hadn't been artificially developed. As far as the eye could see, it was a sea of green. The air was fresh and pleasant, and the chirping of birds and cicadas could be heard. The mountain stream was so clear that one could see the bottom. One could even see a few fish swimming in it. Xiangyi plucked a piece of green foxtail. The young girl was very skillful. She weaved a little rabbit for Yu to play with. Yu thanked him obediently and held it in his hands as if he had obtained a treasure. He even pretended as if nothing had happened and waved his hand in front of Shui. The little kid's subtle desire to show off was greatly satisfied. Uncle, I have it but you don't. The next second, Shui spoke softly, adding a touch of tea fragrance to the forest. Sister E, can I have a little rabbit too? Xiangyi said without hesitation, sure. Of course, she had to satisfy her boyfriend's request. The young girl quickly made 2 little rabbits for Shui. Shui took them and smiled. Sister E is very nice. As long as you like them, Xiangyi said with a smile. She turned her head to see if there were any edible wild vegetables. While she wasn't paying attention, Shui waved the 2 straw bunnies in front of Yu. The cold and handsome man, whose bone structure was so good that there was nothing to nitpick about, said seriously, see? I have 2 little rabbits. Chapter 695. He pulled out his peachwood sword, stuck a talisman on it, and threw the sword into the air. The live stream viewers. Oh my god, can he really fly on a sword? In the next second, the peachwood sword hit Daoist Ren's head and he let out a shrill scream. Ouch, it hurts. Everyone, Li Jianyu said cheekily, don't imitate that dangerous move. Thank you, Daoist Ren, for your performance. He sacrificed himself to entertain us. His spirit is so commendable. The live stream viewers, talking nonsense with a straight face, ha 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 ha, Daoist Ren is my laughing point today, Daoist Ren, this sword is immoral. It sneaked an attack on a middle-aged man like me. I advise this sword to take care of itself. Everyone laughed heartily, and that bit of nervousness from before vanished like smoke. That's right, flying on a sword and flying on a sword are all movies. How could they exist in real life? Xiangyi tried hard to hold back her laughter. Daoist Ren, we're preparing to go up the mountain. Would you like to rest here for a while? Daoist Ren had yet to recover from the blow. He muttered to himself several times, this is impossible, but when he heard Xiangyi's words, he forced himself to cheer up. His gaze swept across Xiangyi, Shui, and Yu. Daoist Ren frowned. It's not safe on the mountain. You're a delicate girl with 2 powerless men. What if you encounter a wild beast? Xiangyi, I'll go with you. Shui? Yu? The expressions of the Shi uncle and niece seemed to be carved out of the same mold. There was a hint of coldness in their expressionless faces. However, the live stream viewers laughed out loud. Daoist Ren, have you seen a delicate girl who can kill a 200-pound pig? Light up a cigarette, ha ha ha. Sure Sui is being treated as a gigolo again. Sure you, it's fine if you say I'm powerless, but you're going overboard by saying that my uncle is. In short, Daoist Ren insisted on going together. Xiangyi and the others felt that it was fine and set off together. The audience was used to the usual live broadcast in the manor, so it was very refreshing to go out occasionally. Soon, the group arrived at the foot of the mountain. The nearby mountain was continuous, and the main peak was quite high above sea level. Today, Xiangyi and the others were going to climb a lower peak. Although the altitude was low, it hadn't been artificially developed. As far as the eye could see, it was a sea of green. The air was fresh and pleasant, and the chirping of birds and cicadas could be heard. The mountain stream was so clear that one could see the bottom. One could even see a few fish swimming in it. Xiangyi plucked a piece of green foxtail. The young girl was very skillful. She weaved a little rabbit for Shiryu to play with. Shiryu thanked him obediently and held it in his hands as if he had obtained a treasure. He even pretended as if nothing had happened and waved his hand in front of Sure Sui. The little kid's subtle desire to show off was greatly satisfied. Uncle, I have it but you don't. The next second, Sure Sui spoke softly, adding a touch of tea fragrance to the forest. Sister E, can I have a little rabbit too? Xiangyi said without hesitation, sure, sure. Of course, she had to satisfy her boyfriend's request. The young girl quickly made 2 little rabbits for Sure Sui. Sure Sui took them and smiled. Sister E is very nice. As long as you like them, Xiangyi said with a smile. She turned her head to see if there were any edible wild vegetables. While she wasn't paying attention, Sure Sui waved the 2 straw bunnies in front of Shiryu. The cold and handsome man had an impeccable physique. He said in a serious tone, do you see? I have 2 little rabbits. The order of the 2 chapters had been changed. It was time to refresh. Chapter 696. Shiryu was speechless. The little Shoto was speechless. He used to idolize his uncle, but who could have told him that his uncle was so childish? The live stream viewers were aghast. Shirindi, you don't do anything related to humans at all. You can't be too Sure Sui, you're even bullying children. Ha ha ha, it's clearly the Sure family showing off to each other. It's obvious that they're just a plastic family. Unwilling to be outdone, Shiryu puffed up his cheeks and said, I have one too. Sure Sui smiled and said, I have two. Shiryu exclaimed, sister gave it to me first. Sure Sui continued, I have two. Shiryu was speechless. I'm so tired. Showing off to his little nephew was no longer enough to satisfy a certain Shirindi. Thus, he locked his gaze on the camera. The live stream viewers were speechless. They suddenly had a bad feeling. Sure enough. The man got closer to the camera, and his handsome and noble face was magnified. Without the enhancement of any beauty filter, his skin was still cold and pale. When he smiled, it was bewitching. This is a little rabbit that Sister E made for me. Sure Sui raised his left hand and then his right. This is also a little rabbit that Sister E made for me. Isn't it cute? Everyone at the scene was speechless. The live stream viewers were speechless. There are two trees in front of my house. One is a jujube tree, and the other is also a jujube tree. Shirindi must be a contemporary literary hero. Haha, is this man really 27 years old? He's so childish. You guys are luring the dog in to be killed. If I'm guilty, the law will punish me, not slap me in the face with dog food. Suddenly, Xiangyi's surprised voice came from not far away. There are mushrooms. Looking in the direction of the voice, they saw the little girl standing under the shade of a tree and waving in the direction of the crowd. Sure Sui walked closer with his long legs. Perhaps because it had just rained, there were many mushrooms growing nearby, spreading into a large area. Xiangyi quickly identified which ones were edible and which were poisonous and told everyone to pick them separately. Even Shiryu gave him a small basket so that the child could feel the joy of labor. This was a very new experience for Shiryu. The little boy huffed and puffed as he picked them very seriously. Xiangyi vividly told the audience about several common ways to make mushrooms. While she was talking, Daoist Ren's loud voice came from beside her. Gulp. Xiangyi looked over. Daoist Ren said awkwardly, well, I was in a hurry on the way, so I ate a boxed lunch on the train. Xiangyi, when you started talking about food, I got hungry. Xiangyi didn't say anything. Her expression was solemn as she stared at Daoist Ren. Seeing that she didn't say anything, someone in the live broadcast room suddenly picked on her. Is this how you treat your guests? That's right, Ren Daoda came all the way here. Isn't treating him to a meal the most basic social etiquette? Daoist Ren is talking to her and she's ignoring him? Is there something wrong with her? Is she getting arrogant because she's popular? The group of people was filled with righteous indignation. In the next moment, the camera slowly switched and many people screamed in front of the screen. Ah! Through the high-definition camera, the crowd saw that on the tree behind Daoist Ren, a snake had climbed up a mountain at some point. The audience in the live broadcast room instantly went crazy. F***CK. This is a F***King venomous snake. F***CK. I was so scared that I dropped my tablet. It's over, it's over. This snake is super venomous and fast. Is the production team going to die here? Chapter 697. Guishanfeng's real name was King Cobra. It was ferocious and had quick reflexes. Most importantly, it was highly venomous and was one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. The scene was so quiet that one could hear the wind and no one dared to make a sound. Even the experienced cameraman Lao Zhang's hands couldn't help but tremble. Who wouldn't be afraid? It was a venomous snake. They might even lose their lives here. Daoist Ren had his back to the tree and because of his perspective, he was the only one who didn't understand what was going on. He even shamelessly discussed the topic of freeloading with Xiangyi. Xiangyi, it's getting late. I can't catch the high-speed train with my old bones. Can I stay for a simple meal? Don't worry. I won't freeload. I'm willing to teach you the unique swordsmanship of Qingshui Temple. It's the ultimate technique of my temple. If it were anyone else, Daoist Ren wouldn't teach them even if they were offered money. However, Xiangyi was different. She had selflessly taught him the talisman, so he naturally had to return the favor. The viewers in the live stream were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. Their typing was trembling. Ah, Daoist Ren, shut up. I'm so scared that Guishanfeng will bite you first. Oh my god, I'm going to cry. What should we do? It's just climbing a mountain, how could there be such an accident? I've already called the police and the fire department, forestry bureau, and zoo rescue. I hope they can make it in time. However, I think everyone is in danger. At least 1 or 2 people have to stay behind to hold Guishanfeng back so that the others can escape unscathed. Anyone who had compassion in their hearts was secretly praying at this moment, hoping that everyone in the program team would be safe and sound. However, even at this time, there were still people who were quick-witted. Doesn't Xiangyi know how to draw talismans? Hee, she should draw a talisman to make the snake go away. She must be stupid, right? No way. Such remarks easily aroused the anger of the crowd. How could he say such things at a time like this? He was undoubtedly starting a war. The hot-tempered netizens directly spat out vulgarities. Even the most Buddhist, Spicy Tutu, was so angry that she started spitting. Daoist Ren saw that Xiangyi didn't respond for a long time. Combined with the reactions of the others, he vaguely understood something. His eyesight was very good. Through Xiangyi's bright doe eyes, he saw his own reflection and the figure that was a few meters long behind him. Shwa, Daoist Ren broke out in cold sweat, and his legs couldn't help but tremble. The atmosphere at the scene turned cold for a moment. Before anyone could come up with a countermeasure, the snake slowly flicked out its tongue, as if it was preparing to hunt. This was simply one disaster after another. No one dared to act rashly. Their eyes and hearts were filled with despair. Daoist Ren gritted his teeth and hardened his heart. You guys go first. I'll hold this beast back. Qingshui Guan was on the mountain. He had dealt with snakes before, and he practiced martial arts all year round. No matter what, he was stronger than these unarmed young people. In the live stream, the Taoist priest is so nice. Woo, Daoist priest, you must survive. I will definitely go to your monastery to burn incense. Being willing to stay at a time like this is enough to show Daoist Ren's benevolence. Unlike some artists who are so awesome when they're drawing talismans, they're good at pretending to be dead. At this moment, Guo Shanfeng arched his body and looked like he was about to launch an attack. Xiangyi, who had been silent all this while, finally found the right opportunity. The girl's voice was as clear as the sound of nature. She said calmly, Daoist priest, lend me your sword. Daoist Ren was dumbfounded. Sword? The one I have? No, it's just a peachwood sword. Chapter 698. Be it the staff at the scene or the audience watching the live stream, they were all dumbfounded. Sister Yi wants to borrow my sword? Is she going to challenge Guo Shanfeng one-on-one? No way, no way, is Xiangyi trying to make me laugh to death? If it's an iron sword, there might be hope, but a peachwood sword. I'm afraid it's too late. I give up. Why is she still pretending at a time like this? Aren't everyone's lives worth more than their own lives? Xiangyi is so annoying. What can a peachwood sword do? Does she really think that Bai Xie's feudal crap is going to work? Can't she use her brain? Everyone kept criticizing, but the eyes of the Spicy Tutu fans lit up with hope. Maybe. Sister Yi really has a way? Based on their understanding of Xiangyi, she wouldn't have made such a request if she wasn't completely confident. Amidst the doubts of the crowd, Xiangyi simply repeated, Daoist priest, sword. Daoist Ren hesitated for a moment, but in the end, he gritted his teeth and pulled out the peachwood sword before tossing it to Xiangyi. Forget it, I'm going to die anyway. Giving the sword to Xiangyi might give me a chance to turn the tables. The moment he pulled out the sword, Guo Shanfeng moved as well. His several-meter-long body moved at an incredible speed. Countless people in front of the screen closed their eyes. It's over, the first one to be bitten will definitely be Daoist Ren, who's the closest. The scene was so thrilling that some people at the scene couldn't help but scream. Immediately, it caused a chain reaction as panicked screams sounded one after another. Ah, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Help. Woo! The audience, who could barely muster up the courage to continue watching the live stream, turned pale and broke out in cold sweat. This is scarier than a horror movie. This is a live stream of death. In the blink of an eye, a few seconds passed. To everyone's surprise, not only did Guo Shanfeng not bite Daoist Ren, on the contrary, screech. Hiss. Two fearful voices sounded one after another. The audience, who had closed their eyes, secretly opened their eyes, only to be instantly dumbfounded. The 7th inch of the mountain was actually nailed to the tree by Xiangyi's sword. To a snake, the 7th inch was the most fatal spot. It could be said that this sword strike had caused Guo Shanfeng to lose most of his combat power. The live stream was silent for a few seconds before the comments exploded at a terrifying speed. WTF? What the F***ck did I see? Am I hallucinating, or are there special effects in the live stream room? I'm going to split it open. Wasn't that a peachwood sword? The peachwood sword pierced through the snake's body and stabbed into the tree. What is this operation? But more than that, there was a sentence that came from the bottom of everyone's heart. Sister E is awesome. Everyone at the scene was also stunned. Was the scene in front of him real? How strong was Sister Yi's arm strength when she stabbed the peachwood sword into the tree? Everyone thought that they were saved, but a sudden change occurred. Sister, be careful. Sure, you shouted. Guo Shanfeng's 7th inch was nailed, but he did not lose all ability to move. His upper body straightened, and he opened his fangs to bite Xiangyi. No one expected such a turn of events. Sister E. It's over. It's really over. That was the unanimous thought in the minds of countless people. Unexpectedly, Xiangyi's body was as agile as a dragon. With a run-up, she leaped directly onto another tree. The girl's climbing speed was simply breathtaking. In an instant, she seemed to have activated the flash function in the game and easily avoided Guo Shanfeng's attack. Chapter 699. Xiangyi's godly maneuver could be described as heavenly, and it was so beautiful that it made one's scalp tingle. Hiss! Hiss! Guo Shanfeng spat out his tongue, but it was all in vain as he couldn't reach Xiangyi at all. The others had long distanced themselves from her. The excruciating pain coming from his weak spot gradually made Guo Shanfeng lose his strength. Soon, Guo Shanfeng curled up into a ball in exhaustion. Everyone at the scene was relieved. In the live stream, the viewers were all dumbfounded. This. Is she climbing a tree or using qigong? Oh my god. Sister E is faster than a monkey when it comes to climbing trees. I got it, I got it. She nailed a snake with her sword and climbed a tree in a second. She learned some useless survival skills again. Sister E is God. Xiang E is a fake. I won't accept any rebuttals. Everyone at the scene looked at each other in disbelief. Such a thrilling and exciting crisis was actually resolved just like that? Recalling the scene that just happened, everyone was in disbelief. Is this a live stream of a variety show? Or is this a movie? Every scene was full of dramatic effects. Before anyone could react, they hurriedly replayed the scene. The girl's black hair was soft and she looked very obedient when she was still, but when she was really frozen, her posture was full of vigor, beautiful and valiant. Be it the strength of the sword, the angle, or the decisiveness and suaveness when she ran up the tree, they were all emotional and couldn't help but watch again and again. Not long after, professionals from the fire department and the forestry bureau arrived to deal with the aftermath. Xiangyi jumped down from the tree with steady footsteps and a calm expression. She handed the peach-wood sword back to Rendaoren. Thank you, Daoist priest. Daoist priest Ren was in a daze. You're welcome. When he came back to his senses, he hurriedly said, Xiangyi, I should be the one thanking you. Without you, Guo Shanfeng would have bitten me and I would be dead. The tense atmosphere in the live stream dissipated, and everyone was even in the mood to joke around. Sister E, come on, Xiaoren, I'll teach you what it means to fly with a sword. Sister E says she believes in science while showing us what metaphysics is. She's watching the live stream with a foreign friend. She now thinks that everyone in China knows martial arts. Wry smile. On the internet, someone edited the video of the confrontation between Xiangyi and Guo Shanfeng. As soon as it was uploaded, it received hundreds of thousands of likes. Related trending searches rose steadily, dominating the charts in minutes. Hashtag Sister E Riseby hashtag Xiangyi Flying Immortal with One Sword hashtag Chinese Kung Fu hashtag Xiang Family's Ancestral Tree Climbing Skill hashtag Contemporary Swordsman Duel Video hashtag Sister. Sure Yu immediately threw himself into Xiangyi's arms. No matter how smart he was still a child physically and mentally. His eyes were completely red. Xiangyi patted his back and comforted him softly, I'm fine. How are you? Are you scared? Sure Yu shook his head. After thinking for a while, he pursed his lips and nodded. He didn't want to lie in front of Xiangyi. I'm sorry, if I had known that it would be so dangerous in the mountains, I wouldn't have brought you out, Xiangyi said as she rubbed Shi Yu's hair. As soon as she looked up, she met Shi Sui's abyss-like gaze. In the next second, she was pulled into Shi Sui's arms. He was so forceful that she felt as if he was going to melt her into his bones. At this moment, the number of online viewers of the Two Under One Roof live stream exceeded the 20 million mark in just a few minutes. Breaking a small rule and setting another record. The Nanxing Historical and Cultural Research Institute also updated their status. Ms. Xiangyi is invited to be a guest professor of our institute. Chapter 700. In an instant. The academic community was shocked. Generally, Teachers would have to be in their 30s or 40s to be appointed as professors. Being a guest professor was an honorary title that didn't have as high requirements as being appointed as a professor. However, it was basically given to well-known scholars, entrepreneurs, inventors, and so on. They were often older too. But how old was Xiangyi? 20 years old. A 20-year-old guest professor. There weren't many in the entire country. Netizens arrived at the scene one after another, and the comments section of this Weibo post became lively. Sister E is probably the youngest professor in history, right? No, her second brother, Xiangli, was appointed as a professor at the age of 17 or 18. I'm kneeling down to him. Sister E isn't that good, but she's still very impressive. Our kid is so hardworking. Her old mother shed tears of relief and kicked OD, who can't even solve a second-grade math problem. I'm dying of laughter. She can be appointed as a professor just because she drew a few scribbles. Are the guest professors in the academic community so lousy? What do you mean by scribbles? If you're so good, go ahead. First, they were in danger, and then they were lucky enough to be rescued. The production crew's limbs were all weak. Just now, they couldn't react at all and forced themselves to continue with the live stream. After being rescued, everyone didn't even have the strength to hold the equipment. The live stream ended at the scene where Shui hugged Xiangyi tightly. At the scene, Xiangyi said softly, Shui, don't be afraid, we're safe now. As a result, the young girl felt the hands on her waist tighten even more. The man lowered his eyes, his emotions difficult to discern. Xiangyi thought that he was angry and patted the man on the back. I wasn't impulsive. I weighed the pros and cons before making up my mind. I'm almost 90% sure that I can get rid of that snake. She had been in danger too many times in the past, and even after returning to this world for so long, her physical and mental instincts were still there. Xiangyi didn't think that today's danger was anything special. The man's hoarse voice sounded beside her ear. I'm not angry. After a pause, he said, our sister E did very well. Xiangyi was a little happy to be praised by the person she loved. She rubbed herself against his chest. She seemed to be acting spoiled. Shui gently rubbed the back of the girl's neck. His long and narrow eyes were filled with ruthlessness and malice. He was thinking about what Xiangyi had gone through in the past year. Did he suffer a lot? Suffered a lot of grievances? A lot of tears? Such a nice little rabbit, he didn't dare to think too deeply about it. Li Jianyu rested for a while, rubbed his face with his hands, and shouted, everyone, cheer up. It's getting late, and it gets dark quickly in the mountains. Let's hurry down the mountain and go back to eat something warm. It's my treat tonight. Everyone was still in a state of shock. The word treat didn't cause any waves, and they numbly packed up their things. Until, the girl's sweet voice entered everyone's ears. The weather is so hot. The ducks at home must have gotten heatstroke. Let's go back and cook a duck. If they get heatstroke, won't we get heatstroke after eating it? Hey, what's there to be afraid of? Just eat it with Isatis indigotica. I'm calling you an expert. Even Master Fong and the others will praise this dish. The eyes of the people who were like walking corpses suddenly lit up. Even the pace of their journey had become much lighter. The professional rescue workers in charge of the aftermath swallowed their saliva. The ducks were so greedy. Cough, so miserable. Chapter 701. Although the staff members were carrying equipment, they walked at the front. On the other hand, Shui carried Shiryu with one hand and held Xiangyi with the other. The three of them walked at the back. Shiryu's little face was pale. He was a child after all. At first, he did not want Shui to carry him. But not long after, he was so tired that he fell asleep with his arms around his uncle's neck. His thick and long eyelashes cast a shadow, soft and obedient. The little boy was so cute that Xiangyi could not help but take a few more glances at him. Shui's expression did not change. She turned Shiryu's little head to her other shoulder. Xiangyi, watch the road, the man reminded her in a low voice. Xiangyi muttered softly, stingy. Oh. Ahem, little uncle said that he will come over tonight. He will be so happy to see Shiryu. Little Uncle Xiang Feng was famous for liking children. Unfortunately, he had been single since birth and could only take care of other people's cute children. Even after such a thrilling experience, Shi Sui's shirt was still neat and tidy. However, she took off her gold-rimmed glasses. Without the glasses blocking her peach blossom eyes, the visual impact was too strong. He said in a muffled voice, "Do you like Shiryu very much?" The sun was setting in the west, and the evening wind was gentle. Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents. "Boyfriend, are you jealous? Or are you jealous of a child?" Shi Sui lowered his long eyelashes and was silent for a few seconds. Then, he said, "Yes." Pfft. Xiangyi could not help but laugh. She explained helplessly and amusedly, "Liking Shiryu is different from liking you. Also, I think Shiryu is very much like you. When I see him, I always think about what you were like when you were young." After all, the two of them were 7 years apart. Xiangyi had missed his childhood. In her impression, Shi Sui was already a calm and gentle big brother next door when she first met him. Therefore, it was difficult for her to imagine Shi Sui when he was young. Shiryu's appearance made up for this regret. "Are you curious?" Shi Sui's voice was clear and pleasant. "When I was young, I didn't seem to be cute or likable at all." Xiangyi retorted, "Of course not. You must be the cutest kid in the world." Shi Sui chuckled and changed the topic. "What's Yaya going to do? Roast duck? Braised duck?" Those unbearable and dark years were not worth mentioning. There was no need for her to know. When it came to food, Xiangyi became spirited and started counting the menu with her small hands. Roast duck is definitely a must. The duck rack can be fried, and then we can make braised duck neck, braised duck wings, and duck blood and vermicelli soup. The thin rays of sunlight fell on his back, elongating his shadow. She was going home. 2 hours later. The live stream of Two Under One Roof was opened, and the number of viewers who flooded in almost caused the server to explode. Other than the loyal fans, there were also many newcomers. "I'm here because of your reputation. Sister E, teach me. I want to learn swordsmanship. Can anyone answer me, how good is Xiangyi's combat skills? If you don't know, just ask. Isn't this a martial arts show? Why are you cooking now?" In the kitchen. Xiangyi had her hair tied up in a bun, and her skin was as fair as snow. She was leisurely scooping out a large spoonful of braised duck meat from the pot. The camera zoomed in and gave her a close-up. The duck neck, duck wings, and duck collarbone had all been braised to a crisp, fragrant, and spicy state. It was as if the meat would be separated from the bones with just a little bit of force. Gulp. The new fans were in a daze. This. Why is my mouth not listening to me?